Okay. So I'm going to turn things over to Andrew here. And you know, one of the things I'm gonna spare you with all the numbers and things that you may know about Andrew's success with us. One of the things. Oh, are you ready? I hear a lot of talking. I hear Tampa talking. You guys sitting or what? What's up? Who's talking? Was that Tally? I don't know. Okay. One of the things that I think, three things that separate Andrew. Okay. Number one, his unparalleled work ethic. Like he's willing to outwork people, right? And I don't know whether it's some of his athletic background, you know, just the things he did growing up, his academic background. But Andrew knows how to work, right? We talked about work ethic, we talked about application. He knows how to apply things. He feeds his mind, he feeds his skill set, and he applies things. And then the third thing that I think is kind of masked, unfortunately, sometimes when you have someone who's a really hard worker, gets great results, like championship results, but sometimes his intent, right, to serve and to help people and really make people better is probably the best thing about it. If you're from his office, I can see like 6 people nodding their heads. Andrew cares about his people at the highest level more than he cares about working and winning. But it just looks like he cares more about working and winning because he's always working and he wins all the time. So it's like one of those, oh, that's all he must care about. No, it's just all he does, right? He wins a lot, and he's not even always worrying. That's the beauty part. But he knows when to and when to apply. So I sat down with Andrew and I said, Andrew, think about this year. What's going to impact our TLA at the highest level? What do we need to be talking about now in the first prep? And he said, easy. Our people need to be comfortable, be aware, learn, and be aggressively pursuing how to start a business from scratch. Because you can be good at PDI. I said this earlier. You can do all those great things, but if you don't have a lot of reps, the reason Fort Lauderdale, Metro Miami, we're always number 1 and 2, look at the size of the teams at every conference. Now, part of that's by design. You have a pilot and you have a veteran pillar district office. But why did Eric Palacio always have more sales, and why did Grant Strayer always have more sales than the rest of the branch class? You went to every conference. They always had 10, 15, 20 people. Everyone else had like 2 to 5 or 2 to 8 or none. Okay? So Andrew's going to speak on a few minutes on just the process of starting a business from scratch. This is a message that's unique and new to the first session of TLA. So I would say because it's new, it's really important. So I take a ton of notes. And these are the types of notes you want to revisit and come back to, whether you're an assistant, a DOM, a branch, or a new district manager. So to kick off how to start a business from scratch, we'll do jazz light bulb snaps. Jazz light bulb snaps. Andrew Evans. That's weird.
Alrighty. So message I'm supposed to be giving is basically on kicking off the summer and how to really get things going, get the gears turning once you get into your area, once you get into your territory, whether you're an assistant manager, branch manager, or new district manager when you're opening up an office. And this is a topic that I feel pretty competent talking about just because I've literally opened up more offices than almost any manager. Probably a lot of managers in the company, just having moved around so many years. I've opened up an office 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 6 times I had to open up a brand new office in a new location physically. So, and I'm glad that we don't have to do that this summer, and I never have to do that ever again, and move to a different location. But, yeah, 6 can kind of wear on you. Anyways, but I've learned a lot of like every single time some of the mistakes that I've made and some of the things that have helped me get going in previous summer. So I kind of want to share some of that with you all. So first off, why I think this is important. You know, if you haven't noticed earlier, like the discrepancy, I think Jeff put on the board earlier, like the difference between like basically the offices that really got it going with the PR number set and the offices that didn't get it going with the PR number set, and the sales results between them, the difference was really big. You know, 86K to basically 36K, aka like they basically didn't even really run an office and they could have just been a sales rep and probably sold more that some of them their whole office did, into a, hey, actually running a successful branch office. And that margin was pretty big by really not that much actions. And what like you don't hear on that too, though, is that a lot of the times, a lot of those branch offices that don't manage to get their PR number set, it's not always just purely work ethic. Half the time, you could be a great PR caller, but you don't even ever get PRs to call. Like you never even have PRs to call at the beginning of the summer because you don't do the things in that first month and a half to set yourself up for the summer so that you're able to take action on some of the skills that you spend 9 months developing. So that first month and a half that you get to your territory really, really is crucial. That's why when you look at branches, most of the branches like this past year, there really weren't many branches. Like there really weren't that many branches in like the 40K to 100K range really at all. Most of them either like barely never got off the ground and barely even opened up an office, or they did pretty well. They did over 100K in sales in that 100 to 200K range. And that's because most of the offices, like if they didn't get going, they really never got going. And the cool thing is once you get the ball rolling, like everything else comes. Like the margin between like success and failure as a branch is really, really thin, and in most things in life. And that means that just like you can put in like 80% of the effort and get 80% there, but you're only gonna get 10% of the results. And then you get to that 90 or 100% effort, and then all of a sudden you're getting like 100% or 90 to 100% of the results. So you experience 10 times the results, but it's not like they're doing 10 times better. It's just a couple of different things that they did the right way to set themselves up. So it's an incredibly important skill, number one, to develop. Being able to just get into an area, a new market, and be able to start a business basically from scratch. I think this is the real skill that is highly transferable, I guess, outside the immediate skill set, but the knowledge and the how-to. And you can really take this to anything you do in the future. If you ever want to start a company, I'm pretty confident that I could literally, and it's not like overconfidence in myself. It's just that I know I've done it many, many times. That I could go to like pretty much any company in any industry or anything. And if I wanted to start it from ground scratch, like I could start a company about anything. People are always asking me like, oh, what's like the product or service? Like that's all like that, like you got to really figure it out. But literally it could be about, I don't even know, dishwashers. It could be about music. It could be about sports, like anything that we wanted to start, I could easily start it. And what you need to know is that lots of people have ideas, in business. Like people always have these like great, crazy, awesome ideas, but ideas in business are pretty much useless. You know what I mean? Like if you ever think about an app, like there's 90,000 other people out there. Like you think there's 300 million people just in America, and you think like no one else in America has thought about that idea before, and you have this crazy idea. People think about the same ideas all day long. The value is not the idea. The value is the execution of the idea. Right? Like the value is the actual like ability to go out there and take that idea and make it happen. Right? So not just that you have some cool idea for an app, but like, can you actually find someone that can design it really, really well? Like that's the hard part about it. And then once you have a really great app, can you actually get it out there so where everyone uses it and now it actually works? If you have an app like, I don't know, if you had an app like Airbnb, Airbnb is a great idea, but like you have to actually get people to host up on there. Right? If you were starting your own company, and you could have the best platform, it could be perfectly designed, but if no one uses it, it's basically worthless and it doesn't really matter. So being able to just get a business off the ground running, an important skill, and something that hopefully by running a branch office and also just hearing this talk will help you develop. So let me give you guys a couple of keys. I don't even really have a keynote or anything like that. I'm not going to write much on the board. I'm just going to kind of give it spurts to you. And so there's kind of a lot of different ways that you can pull it. And actually, I got a question earlier about like how to, if you're starting your own business, like tips for like getting out there and getting it going. And it really depends on the industry. It depends on your territory. It depends on your market. And it also changes like every single year as like our current society changes on what exactly we do. So the programs don't really matter. But I mean, like the first thing that I would talk about is, be creative, right? Be creative. That's the first thing I write down. Be creative and be intuitive and innovative. You're starting your own business. So like if this wasn't Cutco, right? If you weren't doing Cutco, like if you were opening up your own business for the summer, like what would you do to get like your name out there? What would you do to get your product out there? What would you do to get your service out there? What would you do to like hire people? How would you find talent to work inside of your company? Like think about it from that perspective, and what would you do? And start brainstorming ideas, because like I can teach you a lot of things too. And we have like programs that we designed inside of Cutco, but you can't limit yourself to just that thinking, because sometimes those programs don't always work perfect, right? And that's why we have different things like web, Craigslist, and we'll have like 10,000 different like programs and things that we work with. Half the time, 90% of us bring us no results or very, very little results. But we do all of them, and we do a lot of them just because for the one time that like, Craigslist, for instance, brings in that one set applicant that completely changes your summer, it makes all those years of paying for all those years of investing time into it worth it. So you're constantly testing and looking for the right thing that's going to get your summer going. so you're not going to have PRs coming in at the beginning of the summer. You might have some web. You can't really rely on that. You can't really rely on much coming to your office organically. You have to really kind of set up most of it. And PR calling and nailing that program is going to be the name of the game. But and it definitely is the most important thing. But if you don't have people in your office to call, you won't ever get them. So like I said, the first thing is be creative, be open-minded. One skill or one thing that's just going to help set you up for these is just getting to your office and your location of your territory early. That helps. I mean, you could get there at the beginning of May, but it just usually takes 3 to 4 weeks to get settled. Every single year, I've had complications in opening up my office. Every single summer that I've opened up an office, it's never gotten a plan ever. And I've always been like 3 to 4 weeks delayed from what I originally expected every single time. Now, also what you don't know is, well, every other summer I've gotten to my territory pretty much earlier than most of the other branches and districts when I open up the office. Like I would get out of school, I think like the first week in May was when like finals would usually be. And I was usually in my territory by like the first week of April. So I would get out of almost all my classes almost a month early is what I would always be shooting for. Like worst case scenario, 3 weeks. So getting out of your school and finals is pretty important. And again, that just takes a lot of work, energy, and intentionality going into the spring. I did that for 5 classes, 4 years in a row. And so for over 20 classes, I got out of school over a month early. So I promise, like whatever class you have, or like the 3 professors that tell you, oh, there's no way we can let you out, you can get out. You just got to actually pull the cards right and work it through. And so you'll have other tips on getting out there, but getting to your territory early will help set you up because it gives you, I guess, a buffer period to make a lot of mistakes so that things don't go well. If something happens with your office lease and you get screwed, right? Like, and it's the first week of May, you're going to be stuck, but now you have 3 to 4 weeks like that you were there earlier to like catch you up on pace and maybe find a new office until like you can when that actual summer starts. And I can give you multiple examples. Like that happened to me this past summer. We didn't have our office lease in time. The previous summer before that, the other summer where we won a Silver Cup, I actually didn't have an office until it took me an extra month and a half. So I went for the first month I was down there, I went back to office searching. Because the original office, I had like 5 different options and every single one of them fell through. But if you wait to get to your territory to like mid-May, I mean, you probably could be fine, but if anything goes wrong, like you could be screwed. Meaning like if you like lose your office lease and you just got there in May, like now like it's going into June and you're trying to find an office for a 2-month lease and you're already losing that kind of prime time that you have as a branch. So get your office territory early, set your office up fast. And then, so let me just start running down the lines. Here's all like, I'm going to give you guys, I guess, keys and just different things that you can pull and get recruits in the door. So the name of the game is, how can I get anyone coming through my door as a recruit or as an applicant? And then from there, can you scale it out? We'll talk about scaling out here in a second. So first one is steroids and 5-star interviews. You never heard the term steroids or a 5-star interview? Just basically usually a one-on-one interview. Oftentimes virtually, you can do it. It's a 30-minute or usually over FaceTime or something like that. I would crank those out, the weeks leading up. You don't even need to have your office yet to do those. When I moved down to Miami this summer, I lived at Eddie's house and in his grandparents' house for 3 weeks. And every single morning we would wake up and we would go to high school and do things, and then we'd come back and we would both crank out like 6 to 7 steroids every single day that we could. We would do as many as we possibly could every single day leading to the summer. Now, the conversion rate is really, really low because like we run interviews. So like our show, like the first day of training was awful. But it did get our summer going, right? And like it was only actually a couple people out of like a ton of people that we interviewed. But that's because you're interviewing these people over a 3 to 5 week cycle. But it's that little things like that help us kick off the summer. Those were 3 of our top reps for the summer, were the first 3 people in our training class at the very first week of the summer. And they built a big portion of our summer this year. So running a bunch of those, you can do that while you're still at school. Like if you're not able to get to your territory, you can actually interview people virtually and set them up for your first week. Like, could you do like 4 to 5 while you're still finishing up your classes each week in your last couple weeks of school? Second thing is hiring receptionists or getting recruiting assistants. This will help you scale out when you actually have a PR number. It's not as expensive for you now because you can still use conveyor. Like in previous years, receptionists used to be a pretty high expense. Now you don't really have to have them that much. the real value though of having a couple recruiting assistants, like if I was a branch, I would try to hire 3 to 5. I might even hire, if I was a branch, I'd try to hire as many as you can and then fire a couple in the first couple weeks. Here's what I mean by that, okay? These are like a little bit easier sometimes to get in the office because it's an hourly paid position. So recruiting them sometimes is a little bit easier to get in the door before you actually have an office and anything really to show for it. So now when people come into your interview, like there's already people that already work there. It's not just you. Second thing is they will probably be bringing in the people that are coming into the interview. So Eddie's summer, when my first summer winning a silver cup, probably about 80% of our sales came from my receptionist's PRs. She posted up a Facebook status. Someone else came in for an interview. That person ended up sucking at the job, but she recommended another guy named Alex Gonzalez, who ended up recommending Eddie, and Alex recommended like half the team. That built like the majority of our summer that year. All came from one receptionist that I had to work in my office. So, find receptionists or recruiting assistants that like come from your top schools and things like that, and they can do the PR out. You know what I mean? They can post social media. They can post triple threat for you, right? And that's going to help build your team organically, even if you don't even keep them for longer than like a week or two. But having the office, like I would definitely do that. And it's always better to have more help and you can fire and like not need as much than be understaffed once the summer really gets going. And do that early on, because that's a way to get in there before you're even able to run interviews. You can you can recruit and kind of train receptionists virtually too. You could still do that while you're in your school, while you're at school, if you can't get to your territory early enough. Once you're actually in your territory, you got your office set up. Hopefully you have a couple RAs, things are getting going. Again, the key is to be creative. Who in here is active advertised so far? Okay, cool. Most people in here. So you have the basics of active advertising, but during the summertime, unless you're going to get there before finals gets out, which most of you probably won't, or you'll be getting there right as it is, and you'll probably have too much on your plate with everything else and setting up your office. If you can't get on campus, they'll get on campus. After school gets out, sometimes summer classes start early and you could advertise on campus for that. But the active ad you're really going to be doing is going to have to be creative and, again, innovative. Meaning, so think about like, again, if you're running a business, how would you get the word out about your product, service, whatever it is? If your target market is college students, like where do college students hang out? Right? So like think about your territory. If I'm in Boca Raton, I want to get acclimated to the territory. I'm thinking about, who lives like where, like if I'm like a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, where do I go? Where would I be like right now on a Friday night? Where would I be at Thursday? Are they having movie theaters? Is there a big concert in town? Is there a football game? Is there something going on where you can get there and most of your target market's there? You can go there, you can pass out cards. Can you go there and you can clipboard? Can you go out to all the cars in the parking lot and put cards on all of them, just like any like kind of promotion company would? There's a lot of different things that you can do, but are you exposing yourself to the market early and on? Going out there, I think about Grant this summer. He is struggling. Grant was late to the game and actually kicking things off and getting the ball rolling. Still had, I think, number 2 branch in the entire region. That's what he finished off at. But I think he sold $5,000. How much you sell in May, Jeff?
Or less than $5,000.
Yeah. So this is an example. Like most people, if you sell $5,000 in May, you're probably not having a good summer. Just being honest with you. He got it going the end of May and the beginning of June. And he literally did it by like meeting some kid at a sub shop and talking to him there and recruiting him at his dad's sub shop. It just happened how it happened to work. And that kid basically, built and developed the majority of his team. At least how it happened at like Slicers or something like that. So, that can happen. Kind of lost my train of thought here. Anyways, so you got to find it. It doesn't matter where it's going to come from. Like I can give you 100 different scenarios of how like just weird situations or not having that one person in your office, your whole summer could have been different, right? And one person basically built your entire team. So the idea is you never know where that one person is going to come from. So you're just on a constant search to find them anywhere you can, but you got to be relentless with that search. To be creative, OCPs, getting them out around campus. Sometimes you'll get, OCPs, like the little signs, you might get 0 results from them, but put them around smart areas. Like put out as many as you can if you're struggling to get recruits. Next thing I would put down, so active advertising. Next thing you have is social media. Okay, social media. The only 2 ways, in my mind, to really tap into like your target schools is through social media and PRs. If you want a kid to start working from one of your top schools in the area, the only way you're going to get them is if you have someone recommend them to the team, or you actively recruit them by like somehow going to their high school, which probably isn't really likely, or you recruit them through social media. So social media is going to be a really big one, and every single year it becomes more and more important as social media for any business. Every single year becomes more and more important. For us, first thing I would have is like friends making posts, right? Like utilize your friend circle. By the way, I know a lot of you guys, especially if you're younger, don't even really use Facebook. You should make a Facebook because a lot of college students do use Facebook. And if you want to recruit those, you need to I would have a social media presence, right? Start adding people or friends that you do have on Facebook. And you can use other social medias too, but can you have people like advertise for you? Like I remember at the beginning of summer when I was at Eddie's, I reached out to every like fraternity and sorority president at FSU and was having all of them post in their fraternity and sorority group chats about, hey, anyone in the Miami area, if you're looking for a summer internship, I know someone's hiring, blah, blah. And so that's how we're fueling a lot of like the 5-star interviews that we're doing at the beginning of the summer. So, that's one idea, having like friends post up. I remember talking to Kirsten about ideas how to get it going earlier this summer, and we were talking about like, on Instagram. Like a lot of you guys have friends on Instagram that have, even 1,000 followers or 2,000 followers or 5,000 followers. There was an office in Chicago this summer that had 2 people that had 25,000 followers post. They had 2 people that each had 25,000 followers. They posted something on their Instagram story, or like swipe up or hit it was a Google form. I think they took over 300 applications over 3 days just from 2 people posting. They paid them each $50, right? So $100, 300 people applied just from that. Right, and you might not even pay people. Half of you all know like little like basically Instagram models or people that have like mini little followings, right? That go to school with you and things like that. You can just have one of them post and be like, hey, look, can you help me out? I really, really appreciate it. I'll even like toss you $25. Like this would mean the world. And have them like advertise for you. It's easy. Like that was another way to generate a lot of recruits. So friends making posts on whatever social media form. It could be a story. It could be a post. How about I'd also say like, on the same basis, another one that I'm going to transition to in a second is classroom emails. And you might not be able to get in those classes, but do you know your target area? Is there a school there? And before school gets out and they can no longer send out Canvas or Blackboard emails, you have a couple friends that are enrolled or in that city or school or whatever your target school is in your territory. Can you get them to send out some classroom emails for you beforehand? Offer to pay them money and they probably won't even take it. They're like, yeah, it's fine. I'll just help you out. Facebook blasting, that's another big program. This is more so for college students, but also to get into some of your top prep schools. I'd say Facebook or Instagram. Again, this is one of the only ways you can actually tap into. Like if I want a kid from, Belen Jesuit in Miami to work in my office, like unless I know someone that knows a kid in Belen Jesuit and can recommend them to the team, or like go there and personally meet kids at the high school, which again, you don't usually have time for as a branch, social media is going to be the only way to tap into them. So, being really, really aggressive with your Facebook blasting, which again, we haven't really been over that program yet. You might have even learned it if you're on staff in some offices, but we'll go over it. So starting in the spring, you start building up your friend base, and you'll literally send out thousands of friend requests going into the spring. So the goal before you got to summer is to have 2,000 to 3,000 friends that you've added in whatever your market or your territory as an assistant manager or branch manager will be. And then like 3 weeks before summer starts, you start messaging those, right? And you send 50 messages every single day. Again, that's an easy way to yield a lot of recruits. I think the #1 AM team builder right now has like 24 PRs. They're all from Facebook this summer. He had over 24 personal PRs just from Facebook, or I think it might be even more this summer. So Facebook blasting can be a really big one. I think Instagram blasting is kind of like a new program. But if I had to guess, I think that's going to even be bigger next year. So it's the exact same thing as sending messages out on Facebook, but just doing it on Instagram. I think it's just tapping into friends on social media. Those are like the biggest things that I think there. These are all different ideas. Like my list ends there, but it keeps going. You know what I mean? I think it's going to change each and every single summer. And you got to be innovative. You got to be creative about it. You got to be thinking about like, how can I get recruits to my door? And just be really relentless. You have like a 1-month window to really make things happen. And unfortunately, if you don't ever have anyone, like you spend 9 months in TLA learning skills like these, time management skills, financial skills, PR calling, how to run an interview, how to recruit, how to train, how to lead sales, how to coach salespeople. But guess what? Imagine spending 9 months training that, and then you go out and open up an office, and you never get to use any of those skill sets because you don't ever have any dang reps in your office, right? So you got that 1 month or so to really make things happen. So you got to go out there and be really, really aggressive. You are an entrepreneur. You are going to be grinding. You're building up your business. But that 1 month is going to kind of be what sets you up. So couple other last little minute of tips I can give you guys. Once you have people also on the same notion of getting off to a fast start for the summer, once you do have those first few reps in your office, right, you're going to run training. Okay, most people botch their first 1 to 3 trainings. Are pretty awful. I know mine was awful, the first couple. So with that said, that means you probably won't do too much of retaining of those first couple training classes, and they probably won't be there too long. If you can, the hot move is I would try to run a couple trainings if you're going to run a branch office before you go out for the summer. You don't always have the availability to do that, but if you can, I'd run a couple trainings before you even go out next summer. NLG, if I were you guys, I would have already scripted all of training before Olean, and then I would run 1 training before the end of the fall is over. Try to run at least 1 or 2 in the spring to set yourself up. Again, that's just going to shorten the learning curve for you so that when you get those first recruits in the door, like you are able to actually retain them and you don't completely ruin it by like you finally get the people in and now they don't even stay because you ran a bad training. And now once you get those people in, you get your top people in and you got to replicate them. Once you find people that you're like, hey, this is how I wish like every other rep in my office was, or this person could build my organization, you need to tap into those people. So there's 2 people that I'm looking for once I get into my office. I'm looking for people that are going to develop my culture and then people that are going to help build my team. People that are going to develop our culture and people that are going to help build my team. So PR rabbits is what we call them. Who are the social butterflies that you get in your office? Like the people that you're going to get a lot of people that really just don't have that many friends. No big deal. But there's going to be some people that walk into your office that could single-handedly build your organization that summer, and you don't even know it. You know, these people that have, like, when you do the PR app and they have over, like, 500 people submitted, you know, they have, like, over 600 friends, and they're in like, usually a lot of high schoolers. High school seniors can build your team a lot. But I tap them in. Like, I'd have a sit-down one-on-one PC and talk to them about, hey, how can we get some more of your friends on the team? How can we keep building our organization? I think about also every single summer this has happened to me. Every time we've had a good summer, almost every single time by like mid-May or towards the end of May, I've had a couple of top people in my office and our recruiting has started dipping. Or I'll start noticing trends of like, hey, the people coming to our training are not really the people that I really want to be training on a weekly basis. This is not what I'm looking for. And so every single summer I've kind of like in an emergency situation, right? And it hasn't actually been like a planned out thing. It just happened organically. But I've had to call through my top like 4 to 5 people who are my leaders in my office that could like help us build a team right now and tell them like, dude, look, like right now, I'm just being honest. Like the office is doing great. You're doing great, but here's where we're headed right now. And here's where we got to be headed. And like, I don't know if you know anyone, dude, like, cause you've already recommended and built a ton of people to the team, but you know, really looking to build this thing. And like, if you know anyone, maybe just that 1 or 2 people that could tap us into here, or like, if you know, or you think of anyone, or you're at a party, you talk to someone else, that we could like get in the doors here, like it would really help us build our team. We could count on you as a leader here. And each and every single summer I've had that conversation. Maybe not all would produce, but 1 or 2 of them step up and they really help transform the organization and where we go for that summer. So having a PR rabbit that you can really build the rest of the team around, and identifying those people and then replicating them. And the last thing is just looking for culture leaders. Who can you have like that represents and idolizes the culture? Because once you have a culture established in your office, again, it's easier to recruit more people. It's easier to retain people on your team. So do you have a couple people, like empower them to kind of create the culture? Ask them what kind of culture they want. Ask them what kind of organization they want to be in, and then let them help grow and create that organization with you. So I think about culture in the sales world. Do you have like sales leaders in your office that are consistently selling and creating that kind of culture of like high sales standards that you want? And then also there's just like the office culture, like the in-office, like how do your phone jams go? How do people carry themselves? Well, it's like the word, like what's the mentality like in your office? Like what's people's like language like in your office? And having those people hold that culture there too. Appointing AMIs, things like that are all different ways to get there in. And then from there, all the stuff that you learn for the next 9 months of TLA is going to come into place. You know, and you get to expand and use all the resources, test all the skill sets that you've developed, you know, all year long, really during the summertime. But again, you've only got that small window to really get it going. But once you get it going, everything is so much easier from there. Once you get it going, it feels like, you know, it like feels like just like yesterday you went from nothing and now you have this crazy organization. It's like, wow, how did this get started so fast? But, you know, those 3 to 4 weeks of really hard work and diving in and, you know, fighting for any recruit you can get is what's going to set you up for an awesome summer. So hopefully you guys took a little bit away from this or something. Cool.
Okay. So we have, excuse me, Kelly. Nice. We have any questions? That's a lot of information, but we're going to cover this multiple times. And then we'll start with first years with questions. The next level, I'd like you to reiterate things that Andrew talked about that, you know, when you were first year, probably passed through and went over your head. And you're thinking, you know what, that's so true. Amen. Brother, that's the way. And whatever. I had 3 or 4 in the back, and I went, geez, I wish if our branches really understood this at the level that he was explaining, we would have had a way better summer. So, Alex, quick question.
When you're negotiating in office, most offices are usually 6 months to a year. How did you go about negotiating 2-month leases?
Okay, so just prefacing all the questions that are probably about to come up. I went over like a lot of different things. Like if you're running a branch office, you're gonna learn. Like this is not like the talk, and it's like, all right, cool. Like that's all you needed to know from now and then. This is kind of giving you an idea of all the things and the skills that you will eventually learn and develop. Like I didn't really give you guys any actual how-tos. Again, I'm more so trying to help you guys understand the mentality of how you want to attack going into the summer, whether you're an assistant manager or branch manager going into it. So I could answer that question, but it might be like
I think what Andrew is trying to get across, what I want him to get across is you got a branch. Giselle, congratulations, you're a branch manager in Weston, Florida. Yeah, awesome. It's not okay. You walk in, there's an office. Okay, and go. There's way more. It's not. There's no office set up for you. You have to find the office. You have to get it decorated. You have to get FPL to set up the light and electricity. If you're in Puerto Rico, there's 10 more steps to go through for light and water. Trust me. I mean, you have to negotiate. And by the way, no one does. Who in their right mind would rent an office space, not a house, an office space for 2 or 3 months? That's unheard of. It's got to be a minimum of 2 to 3 years for a lease. But we get 3-month leases all the time. Every year. Yeah, but you know, college people your age are supposed to have your experience or your income, but we do it all the time, right? So it's negotiable. Good question. Other takeaways? I'll go to the next level in a second. Okay, next level. Can we reiterate a few points here before we move on to drill for skill?
virtual meeting.
We'll go virtual. We'll go virtual first. Anyone from Tally, Tampa, San Juan, and the district managers can also chime in too, and then we'll wrap up here. So we'll go Tally.
Yeah, so definitely he talks about that 1 month window. He talked a lot on that. That's like, and he talks. I know that he talks a lot about like work ethic, but if you don't have the PRs to call, you can't set them up. So really, just making sure that you nail your PR talk and training, so you can have a lot of PRs to call. And I love what you said about getting receptionist PRs and just.
Yeah, one of the beauties and why we want to have receptionists is because you're guaranteed to have someone to get PR names from. Whoever you hire. So you should hire someone that you want to get their PR names. Right? Okay, good. Thanks, Dalila. How about anyone else in Tally from Next Level? Okay, how about, oh yeah, Eddie, de la Cueva.
No, it's kind of that same deal with like having the receptionist just to show a fuller office and just kind of like already create kind of a vibe or a general like sense of being when they're coming out, and then they can also help with the social media and the PRs. It's something that Andrew and I were talking about when we were going into this summer that helped in between last summer and this summer was AM PRs and how vital that is. So like using the receptionist, using Facebook, using Instagram, and using all that, you can get those AM PRs in or receptionist PRs. It transforms everything in 2 seconds. there sooner.
Yeah.
Rather than you can't. School's easy to get out of, but
Here's a thought, right? How do gyms, like fitness gyms, how do they make money off of what? Memberships, okay? So who do they hire? People who are yoked and fit. You guys know what yoked means?
Yeah.
Like fit and shredded. They don't have overweight, unfit people working in membership. Sometimes I've seen it. But the gyms that like the highest profiting gym on South Beach and in Miami, you know, it's Equinox. So expensive. It's almost $200 a month for a gym. Okay. Some of you can get a membership for $10 a month, $15 a month. Heidi and I pay $90 a month per person. Okay. Elevation Fitness in downtown. Okay. And when you walk in, it's like you hear, oh, how are you? You here checking in? Yes, sir. Like I'm physically humbled when I look at the guy. Diego's his name. I go, hi. This guy's, how are you? Having a good day? I was like, yes, I am. Oh my God. Yeah. Like he is so, and he's nice, and he talked about fitness. Go, oh, let's talk about, and it's inspiring. It's motivating. And I wanted to sign up. I said, oh, those people work here. Those people work out here. That's how you should hire your receptionist. That's how you should look for, essentially receptionists. You have control of that hiring. Your assistants are different. And I said this at Next Level. You have to be careful. And Andrew, you weren't here for this. Our job is not to find people that match us. Our job is to find people and mold them towards us and develop them towards us. Very rarely do you find someone like Andrew Evans to find another Andrew Evans. It's kind of tough. For me to find another Jeff, it's kind of tough. I think so. So rather than energy of let me find someone like me, let me people like me, let me find people like me. Let me find people who I could develop to have skills like me. People I can connect with to develop to work like me. That's different. Okay, because then it's also more opportunities to recruit. So, cool. Any other questions? Next Level. Let's go to Tampa. We'll go to San Juan, and then we'll wrap up here in the pilot with Next Level. Couple quick takeaways. We got to go fast here. So, Tampa.
Yeah, just like at the beginning, you're just trying to plant all the seeds and basically just hope that you get a tree like one of those, all these different methods, and you know that some of them, not all of them are going to work, but you have to try every method so that 1 or 2 or 3 work.
Yeah. Ready? PRs are important. PRs are important. PRs are important. What's important?
Yeah.
PRs are important. What's important?
Yeah.
What if your PR program is not working? What do? So many branches, their PR program wasn't working. They go, well, what do I do? Because all I did was submit PRs. Right? Yeah, I'll use military. There's always a plan B and a plan C and a plan D and a contingency plan and a doomsday plan. You have to have it, right? It's not, okay, plan A. Oh, it goes to poop. What do we do? I don't know. There's always, okay, what happens? There's like, okay, this and that, this and that, this and that, this and that. And that's what Andrew's trying to tell you, is that there's not just one way. All these numbers look easy and in theory look good. But I'm telling you, there are 20 different ways to get there. Cool? Good, Zach Shakta. Anyone else Next Level over on the Tampa side?
Yeah, I would say finding someone who has a lot of social media followers and incentivizing them to be able to make a post for you.
Yeah, and how do you do that? Well, when you get your territory, I want you to write this date down for territory announcements. Assistant managers will know that they are assistants, and branches will know they are branches. Let me say this again. Our district office manager, DOM positions, which was this summer, Nefti, Eddie was our most senior, Tristan, David, right, Giovanni, and Patricia. Okay, those positions, DOM, branch, those 2 positions, you will know your territory by mid-January. You'll know your territory by January 15th. District managers probably before that, a month, probably by Christmas. Okay. So as soon as you get your territory, June 15th, you can start friending and creating your social media network in your territory. And what's great, let's say you're one of our, 10 to 15 branch abroads, Puerto Rico or up and down the East Coast. Let's say you're going to Virginia for the Real World House this year. Maybe, right? What's so great about social media? You don't have to be there. I don't have to be in Richmond, Virginia to send requests for friends in Richmond, Virginia. So if someone can do that at any time, how come people sometimes don't have enough friends when they get to their territory? It's only a matter of what? Work ethic and application. It's the same thing. Some light bulbs, yeah? Okay. Good, Amanda, thank you. Oh, go ahead, Tristan.
Oh, one of the things that I was for just getting your territory earlier, kind of like in case something happened. I know personally in our office, recruiting started really slow, and I got back late, and had it started slow and I was there early, we just would have been on pace. So just getting there earlier just in case something happened.
Yeah, that was the pilot this summer. We started behind because we got to all of us got to our office, including myself, coming from Delaware a little late. Okay.
This is me.
Let's go to San Juan.
By myself.
Patricia or David?
Yeah. I think one of my biggest takeaways was look for people to develop culture and people that can build your team and empower them in that process and like help and make them part of the process of what you want to develop in your team, like what culture you want, you know.
Yeah, I'm looking right at Mila. When Mila was a rep, we had a staff meeting and we went through, and I remember we said, who are our culture rabbits? And we wrote down Mila was one of the culture rabbits because A, she knew a lot of people, and B, she really was drinking the Cutco Kool-Aid like a mofo. Like everything. Wow, yeah, fast start, yeah! Everything. And to this day, still.
That's how she got me to do.
To this day, she is still everything. I love it. She's doing great. Okay? Culture rabbit. And then ready, she recruited Giovanni. And how ironic, we have a future branch and a future pilot sales manager from one culture rabbit. So it's that powerful. Good, thanks. Good job, Tristan. Thank you. Also, Patricia. Let's go over here to the pilot. Any next level thoughts from district, next level, or anyone? Laura Miro.
I think one thing was just getting creative when school is out and it's summer. So just finding those hot spots where college students or your seniors will hang out and just posting up and just getting the cards, like simple things. And just
Yeah, ready? What's easier? What's easier of an environment to catch fish? The ocean or a pond? Pond. Why?
Smaller.
Wait, the same amount of fish in an ocean or in a pond? Pond. Why?
Density.
Yeah, density. Okay. Pond or swimming pool? Same amount of fish.
Pond.
Small swimming pool. Right?
Oh, like a
Swimming pool or fishbowl? Fishbowl. It's like
Fishbowl.
gotcha. You're right there, okay? So what's the fishbowl for us? The fishbowl for us is when they're in school still. So if you get to your territory late, after school gets out, you're already fishing in the ocean before you have a chance to fish fishbowl. Okay? So get to your territory. And you got it so far? Andrew, thank you for that message. Snaps for Andrew. Thank you. All right. Here we go. So I'd like to dive right into drill for skill. So here's what I'd like you to do is go ahead and pull out your personal recruiting approaches and objections. Okay. And it's so funny. I can already score you based on what you pull out right now. I can tell who doesn't know what the hell's going on and who's pulling out whatever, or who's pulling out what they used last night. I can tell. Okay. So between Karina, Andrew, Orlando here in this group, in this area. Also David, I'll have you be a score. I'll have the four of you split everyone up into groups. We'll do probably groups of 4 or 5 in a second. Tampa, Carlos, are you gonna do one big one or 2 groups?
There's 16 people, so I'm gonna do 3 groups. I'm gonna have Amanda and Zach be scores since they were branches in the post schedule.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Perfect. Okay. And then Tallahassee will do 1, right, Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay. And then in San Juan will do 1. Okay. For those of you that are virtual right now, you can just connect with your manager and we'll figure out what to do with the matrix score until we get you live. No worries. Okay. Okay. So give you 30 seconds to pull that up, and I'm actually going to ask for a chair. Senor Delgado, I'd like a chair right next to Miss Rodriguez, my favorite Brazilian.
I was in this
Next to her, like I'm an audience. Okay. And also, by the way, fair game. I'm also doing random. I'll do random in virtual land too. So, okay. So I'll give you 30 seconds. You can pull up all your.
I think you have to pick him now. Someone got scared.
Hey, district managers, to Andrew's point, let everyone pull up their scripts right now. Let's get on the same page of what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is, so we can define that. Okay. All right. 5 would be they're perfect. You can tell they have. Hold on. Jackson, 1 second. 1 second. Okay. 5 is perfect. They have experience. They're proficient. Pretty straightforward, right? Okay. 4 could use some work, but for the most part, we'll get either have experience and they're proficient. Okay. 3 could get through, but probably not a great show. And we can. This is subject to debate from our district, from our senior district. Could get through, but probably a low show, like not guaranteed to be a good show. Okay. Okay. 2 below that, and 1's just. What are you doing? Okay. From Andrew and Karina, David, from our districts here, Carlos, from our seniors who run an office, and David Vargas. Again, I'm saying 1, what are you doing? 2 is still pretty bad. 3, you can get through it, still get a bad show. 4, you'll get decent numbers, but you could use some work. And 5, you can tell that person's proficient. Andrew, you have a thought?
I would like.
I'm open.
Right. Okay. Cool. I was thinking more like a 3 would be like, hey, you could do the approach and you'll be able to set PRs fine, but you'll probably get like a lower, or you're probably like you're not really like that great at it. Like I was thinking 5 is like
It's like a middle ground.
4 is like a like you will set PRs and you know how to like handle objections. Like you're not all over the place, but you're not like really good at it. You're just like you could do it. 3 is like you're kind of learning still. 2 is like you could maybe set PRs, but you're probably not gonna have a good show at all. And 1's just you're like god awful.
Well, everyone knows 1's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Right? 2's pretty bad. 3, and maybe we're on the same page. 3 is you could get through it, but you're probably not going to get a good show. Is that what you're saying? Or you're saying worse, harder than that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and 3 is like they'll set them, but it's like they're not showing. You know what I mean? Like they'll probably get the person set.
I would say that's a 2. I mean, that's not even like a. It isn't really.
And you're saying that would be more like a 2.
I feel like everyone's gonna be like that. I feel like if we do it this way, everyone's gonna be like 4. Most people can read the paper. If you can't read the paper, I mean, you should be like a 1.
Well, I actually don't know. I think there are people that can read it that they wouldn't get a good show. We're seeing here they'll get results.
Yeah.
So I don't think people who got I don't think on this scale you'll get a 4 if you go you're not really, you're just reading. Okay. If someone and I'm talking about districts, the one who's just kind of reading it and they're just bullshitting because they're kind of smooth. They're still good on this one. It's like, well, you can get through it, but you're not going to get a show at that because when they throw you an objection, you're screwed. So are we for the most part the same? Feeling good, Andrew, Carlos, David. All right, good. All right, let's do this. I would like, let's see. So pull out your PR approaches. We all have the same one, by the way. District managers, if you want to answer my last question one more time. Yeah. So we're voting on more so how they handle objections. And what I'll do is I'll have the district managers kind of give their vote first, and I'll give like a final vote just to give an example, okay? Mr. Belton in Tampa, thanks for volunteering. Whoa, right there. Yeah, okay, so I'll be your caller, okay?
All right,
can you hear me? I can. Do you have your approaches?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sounds good. Ready?
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Hello?
Wait, what? Did you say?
Do you not hear me? Let me start over. Okay, ready?
All right.
Hello?
Hey, is this Jeff?
Yeah. Hello. Who's this?
Hey, Jeff. This is Daniel Button. I'm one of Skylar's managers at our job. How are you?
Who is this?
I'm Daniel Belton, one of Skylar's managers at our job. How you doing?
Cantone? Skylar Cantone?
Oh yeah, Skylar Cantone.
Oh, hi. Yeah, hi. What's up?
Nothing much. Did she mention I was gonna be calling you?
No, I haven't seen her since like last month. We had a project and I haven't seen her in a bit.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. Well, the reason I was calling you is just because Skylar just started working with us. She's actually doing pretty well, and she knew we were looking to fill a few more spots on our team, and she actually recommended you as someone who's possibly either looking for work or would be a good fit. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about it real quick, just to confirm you're at least 17, right?
I am. Yeah, but what is this again?
Yeah. So the name of the company is Cutco. The openings we have are in entry-level sales and customer service, working one-on-one with our customers, helping them fill out order forms, answering any of their questions, basically just helping them in any way possible. The pay is $15 guaranteed, which is not based on sales or commissions. And by the way, there's no door-to-door telemarketing involved as well. By the way, how do you know Skylar?
Oh, well, my best friend actually grew up with her, and we all kind of have the same circle of friends. We also play on like the co-ed, like the kickball league together.
Okay, nice. So you play kickball. What position you play?
Oh, I'm the all-star kicker, man.
All-star kicker. Nice. Do you compete competitively outside of school?
Bro, I got the Thunderfoot. Yes, I do.
Nice. Now, is this something that you wanna take on the collegiate level?
No, bro, there's no collegiate level. No, this is for fun and beer, okay? No.
Okay.
But no, I'm sorry. I'm being kind of funny. But yeah, they don't really have that for college. Just more for fun, and we drink beer. It's cool.
Okay, yeah, nice. John, do you already have like a kind of like a set plan? Do you want to go to college after school? You want to work a little bit?
Yeah, well, I'm still at UCF. I'm on that like 5-year program. You know what I mean? But I think I'm kind of cruising right now. I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. What are you studying right now?
Yeah, like to be honest, I don't even know, man. I just
okay. Nice. So you're knocking out some like prereqs.
Yeah, like general studies.
Yeah. Of course. Of course, yeah. So I mean, that's perfect. The reason I asked is just because we do offer very flexible schedules that'll work around any of like your kickball commitments, as well as like your general ed classes. So some of the students that work with us have been able to earn some college credit. We've also had students earn some scholarships based on their performance with the company. So Jeff, since you came personally recommended by Skylar, it actually gives you priority over the other applicants who may be responding to our ads. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so what I can do for you now is set up some time to sit down with my manager where you can check it out, and he or she will go over the details and answer any of the questions you might have. So while I'm looking at my manager's availability, why don't you go ahead and walk me through your schedule for tomorrow? Actually,
I'm super busy. Can we do it next week? Like I've got a couple of exams and quizzes to study for. Plus we have kickball. Yeah, sure. I mean, I totally understand that. I mean, I could actually set you up for a time to meet with a manager, where he or she could go over like the full job description next week. But they are at a first come, first served basis, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on like your opportunity. Okay, I'll stop for a second. District managers, what grade would you give, and what did he do well? District managers, Andrew, what did he do well? No, so what went well with Daniel?
I'd say, he knows the road pretty well.
Yeah, you can tell you've made calls before.
Able to connect with the caller and build rapport.
Yeah, if you didn't hear him, able to connect with the call and build some rapport. I agree. Any other district feedback? Carlos over there, David Vargas, Jackson.
I think he did well sticking with the approach.
I think so too. Stuck to the approach. Karina?
Good voice inflections.
Yeah, and I think as I got a little bit more humorous and frivolous with the kickball fun, I think it kind of threw off a little bit. Okay, how about area of opportunity? Andrew, you about to say area of opportunity? How he takes that higher?
Just handling objections, just like knowing, it's like kind of handling objections, but not like exactly.
Yeah, it was kind to me. It was he's done it before, but you can tell he didn't even know where it was on the script. It was kind of like versus I know that. How long does it take? Oh, Mrs. Jones, it's about 30 to 40. That's a great question. It's all about 30 to 45 minutes. Versus, how long does it take? That's a great question, Mrs. Jones. Well, it takes about. See the difference? Okay. What score would you give? Districts here. What score? We'll go Tampa, since you're right there, Carlos, and over here in front of me. What score? Carlos, what score would you give them?
I would give him like between a 3 and a 4. Think about like using Skylar Cantone, right? Like saying the last name, right? That's important. They can know a bunch of different Skylars. You know, and I think about, hey, walk me through your schedule. What do you have going on for the next couple of days versus like, we have, come on. Like, hey, can you see me tomorrow on the show? She says no. Versus, hey, what do you have going on over the next 9 days?
Yeah. Okay. 3 or 4. Angel, what would you give them? 3 or 4.
Yeah, say 3.5.
Yeah. Okay.
High 3s or 4.
Yeah, I agree. I would give them between 3 and 4, mid 3s for sure. Okay. So for being courageous to volunteer first, thank you, Daniel. Well done. Well done. Okay. Let's see here. Hayden, come on up. Yeah, you can sit in the chair or you can stand up. You don't have to stand. You're normally not standing for chair calls. That's not fair. Okay, ready? Ready? Hello?
Hi, Jeff. This is Aiden from Vector. I work with Maggie. How are you?
Who?
Maggie Cardenas.
Oh, yeah. Hey, how are you? What's up?
I'm all right, thanks. And I'm just going to ask, did Maggie mention I was going to be calling?
No, I haven't seen Maggie since, gosh, Orlando and I were playing golf the other day, last week, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay, well, no problem. The reason why I'm calling is because Maggie just started working with us. She's actually doing really well, and she knew we were looking to fill a few more spots on our team. She actually recommended you as someone who's possibly looking for work and would be a good fit. Just want to tell you a little bit more about it real quick. And just to confirm, you're at least 17, right?
I am, yeah. Wait, what's the job again?
All right, so the name of the company is Vector, and we've been in business since 1981. The openings we have are in entry-level customer sales and service, working one-on-one with our customers, helping them fill out order forms, answering their questions, and basically just helping them out in any way possible. The pay is $16.50 guaranteed, which is not based on sales or commissions. And by the way, there's no door-to-door or telemarketing involved as well. By the way, how do you know Maggie?
We're friends through her boyfriend.
All right. Actually, that's fiance now, she was just saying. And how long have you known her?
Gosh, for like 5-6 years already.
Awesome. So how long have you known Orlando?
About the same.
Okay. So I'm just gonna ask real quick. Are you in school right now, like they are?
Yeah, actually we go to school over at FGC together.
FGCU? All right. What's your major?
I am a clinical psychology major.
Clinical psychology? What do you want to do with that after college?
Actually I want to get to FBI. I want to get into the psych, like, have you seen CSI?
Yeah.
I want to be like Horatio.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So along with that, it sounds like a pretty tough course load. Are you involved in any clubs?
Stop. So districts here. What went well? Oh, anyway, yeah, I'm in no order. This includes David. You can go on this one too. What went well, Karina?
Yeah, I can tell you definitely make a few calls before.
I would say he's made a few calls. I also think it got through pretty well to be the first person of all of TLA prep to get right in front the very first time. Right? That's the same with Daniel. That's tough. Right?
I think in front of definitely.
Yeah, I'll say this: if you can do it in front of you're not done yet. If you can do it in front of me, you're never going to be in a scenario where you're going to have 25 people watching you do it. Ever. You know what's the scenario? You might have 25 other people making calls with you. Hell yeah, that's the goal. All right. Oh my God, that just got me excited. Right. I just thought about 25 people making PR calls for one office. Woo! Woo! But ready? Okay, so other things that went well. I would say sounds friendly, but I also want to give the opposite comment. It didn't sound really natural.
Like monotone.
Right? In fact, the first was hello. I'm like, what? And maybe that's how you really sound. So I don't know you. I don't know. you tell me, Orlando. Maggie, you're the manager. Is that how he naturally sounds in general? Yeah. He does. Okay, and maybe that's natural for him. I didn't know. I'm not sure. Other feedback? What would you score? We'll go. Maggie, since you're the original manager, what would you score him?
I would say a 3.5, just because he did go slow enough to where you can understand what he was saying.
Yeah, I think that's too high in your bias because you're his manager. He would get crushed on the call. You would get crushed on the call. How many calls have you made? Pair calls?
Calls answered or just total?
How many people have picked up the phone? You went through that.
Probably about 8.
8. Okay. Yeah, I think for me, and I don't know an exact number. There's no metrics. I just think if you had a caller that was a little bit more assertive, you get rocked. Okay, so you got to work on that. So for me, Karina, Andrew, Orlando, David, would you agree? Carlos, David, Jackson, it's probably around the 30 to 50 mark of calls you've made where you start to go, oh, okay, I'm kind of starting to get the hang of it. Maybe less, maybe more. At least 30. 30 to 50 people that you've picked up and tried to go through this approach with. Right? How many people of those people, watch this, ready? How many people those people picked up and you just had a hard time, they were just rude or just give you a hard time?
3.
3. The fact that you can count means you haven't made enough calls. Right? When you know, oh, well, 6 people were not good. Like, you should be able to go, oh, no, it was another one of those, like, yeah.
I think a good way to measure it, every 10 people you speak to, you move up in scale. Right? Like once you speak to 50 people, you're probably...
Yeah, that's actually pretty. Ready? Every 10 people, you probably get higher in score in theory. Cool? David, one more.
I was just going to say right now, even though he has done the calls, he seems to know it, he doesn't sound comfortable talking to people right now.
Right.
It's not a comfortable conversation. Therefore, that person will be like, why am I still talking to you?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. By the way, courageous, rocked it in terms of at least getting up and getting through it, didn't choke. And when I say choke, you mean like the people who choke. There are people that sit here and they freeze. They stand up here and they just can't. Their hands start shaking. They can't do anything. And that just shows they haven't done it. Right? So I applaud that. It's not, okay. I'll give you a 2, and you're like touching the 3. Like, hello, 3. Got it? All right, have a seat. Good. Mr. Mike Sullivan in Tally, I'd love to see you.
This is the best calls ever. Jeff, have you ever heard Trent do a call before?
I might just do it just because you said it.
It sounds like he has like the most wonderful voice over the phone, like a very high class voice. Yes, like he laughs and he's like, oh, such reception. You don't know what metrosexual is? You live in Miami.
Ready? You are happy. Ready?
Give me a sec. Okay. All right, ready? Can I get quiet, everyone? Hello? Hello?
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah?
Hey, this is Michael Sullivan from Vector. I work with Adrian. How are you?
Is that in the approach? With Vector?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. Sorry.
Well,
okay. No, I've been. Ready to start over? Ready? Hello?
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Michael Sullivan from Vector. I work with Adrian. How are you?
Adrian who?
Adrian Arredondo?
Oh, yeah. That's my boy from high school down in Miami.
Yeah. Did he mention I was going to be calling?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. No problem. Well, the reason I'm calling is because Adrian actually just started working with us, and he's actually doing really well, and he knew we were looking to fill a few more spots on our team, and he actually personally recommended you as someone who was possibly looking for work, and he thought you'd be a good fit. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about it real quick.
Okay. Sure, go for it. Wait, what is this again? Sorry. I'll give me 1 second. What is this again?
So the name of the company is Vector, and we've been in business since 1981. The openings we have are in entry-level customer sales and service, working one-on-one with our customers, helping them fill out order forms, answering their questions, and basically just helping them in any way possible. The pay is $15 guaranteed, which is not based on sales or commissions. And by the way, there's no door-to-door or telemarketing involved as well. And also, by the way, if you don't mind me asking, how do you know Adrian? I think you said something about going to high school with him.
Yeah, we went to school down in Miami together, and then we're both at FSU, and we're both on the flag foot. We play flag football, intramurals, all that together.
Oh, really? That sounds fun. What's your major? You said you're at FSU, right?
Yeah, right now I'm an entrepreneur plus real estate plus finance major.
Oh wow. Well, what are your plans to do with that after college?
I want to be Andrew Evans. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh, so it's too easy not to do. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Are you working anywhere right now along those lines of your major?
No, I'm actually looking for internships. So, but.
Oh, nice. Well, the reason I ask is because we do offer very flexible schedules that work around any other commitments that you may have.
All right,
And
stop. I gotta
also-
stop on this one, man. You missed the layup, man. You
Yeah.
missed the layup.
We are.
You missed the layup. Oh
I
my
was busy
God.
doing internships.
Mrs. Jones, what? Oh, Mrs. Jones, did I catch you at a bad time? No, honey, I'm kind of frustrated. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to cook, but my knives are just so shitty.
Oh, so good.
That's like you saying, well, Mrs. Jones, well, I'm calling based on a student work program. No, I sell knives. Internship, and that's really funny that you say that because we actually have student internships. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. In fact, can I tell you about them?
So jump on it.
Well, yeah, it was just okay.
Okay.
All right, cool. How about this? Let's stop there. Jackson, I'll have you grade first, and why?
I say 4. I would say 4. I think you followed the approach well. I think you had great, tonality. I think you could be more energetic. You're more energetic.
Michael, what's your show to interview, roughly?
There's not really a big sample size there.
Yeah, what's the number? Under 10?
It's actually like 65%, but it's only like a couple people.
Okay, all right. You'd say 4. I'd still say between 3 and 4. I would give. What's that?
I would have said a 3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, I don't know, but I wouldn't push 4. It's funny. The managers of the person always give a higher score.
I'll appreciate you.
Colin.
What's that?
So no, Mike's my guy. I still give him a 3 on it.
Yeah, and started with Andrew. He gives him a 3. Go ahead.
But it sounds still like he's reading from the paper too much. So I think like you gotta like make the verbiage not sound. It's kind of like when you originally do the presentation with the Cutco on your first one's manual, and it's like, Mrs. Jones, let me tell you why so many customers choose invest in Cutco. And it's like sounds like you're literally reading on the paper. It's like, hey, so Mrs. Jones, it's like when it's like your own personality. And it's like, hey, Mrs. Jones, let me go ahead and tell you like why so many people choose invest in Cutco. And it actually sounds like you're saying it versus like you sound like you're reading paper. So like that's like, and that just takes a little more practice. You just gotta be like more relaxed with it.
Yeah, I agree.
We got some more feedback there.
Yeah, go ahead. From who?
Eddie.
Oh, Eddie. Sorry, yeah, Eddie, yes, please. No, I don't know who's on every hub all the time.
So like when he was going through it, you asked him just before he came into the line of asked like just to confirm you're at least 17, right? You asked like, oh wait, what is this? Like I've had like asked to be a lot of times right before that line. That's like where I always took the opportunity to immediately start qualifying them and letting them know like, hey, I'm calling you because you have an opportunity, but you don't have any like option. And like for me right there, like what I would have said is just like, oh well, yeah, at first I need to confirm that you are at least 17 before I continue. So I just want to make sure you are at least 17, right? And then having them like know that they're.
Yeah, for those of you that are, because it's hard to hear in the hub, right? That's like saying, it's like you're at least 17, right? All right, now I just want to confirm that you're at least 7. Let's role play, David. I just want to confirm and ask me, what is this? I want to confirm you're at least 17.
What is this?
Right, I'm sorry. I'm calling to qualify you for potential interviews, so I need to at least ask first if you're 17. Then I can give you all the information.
Okay, yeah, I'm 17.
Okay, cool, great. Well, the job, right? You got. Sorry.
You're like your cheeks. Yeah. Like.
Okay. I would give it 3 and still continue to get better. Okay. So hey, Mike, just keep getting more under your belt. Okay. Snaps. Let's go here. Ms. Ortiz.
Let's go, Julia.
Hey guys.
Hey girl.
Okay, so I'll be the. May I? Pardon me.
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Hey Jeff, this is Julia Ortiz. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, but I actually work with your friend Andrew Evans. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry. Wait, who's this? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Who's this?
Julia Ortiz. I work with your friend Andrew Evans.
I don't know Andrew.
Oh, you don't? Oh, that's so weird. That's so funny. Well, I guess you made a good enough impression on him. He had your phone number, and he actually recommended you as someone who would that would potentially be.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah, you were actually just crushing it.
Well,
No,
I forgot what this like. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
So wait, who is Andrew? I don't know that I know Andrew.
Oh, I mean, I guess you just left a good enough impression on him because he has your number saved and he actually recommended you for a job down here with us where he's working.
Oh, okay. Well, what is this again? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't know who this Andrew is.
Okay, well, actually, the reason I'm calling is because this guy Andrew just started working with us and he's actually doing really well. And he knew we were looking to fill a few more spots on our team, and he actually recommended you as someone who was possibly looking for work and would actually be a great fit. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about it real quick, but just to confirm, you're at least 17, right?
I am. I'm sorry. Can you tell me this is a job, right? What's the job?
Okay, yeah. So the name of the company is Vector, and we've been in business since 1981. We're actually the #1 student work program in the country. Basically, the openings we have are in customer service and sales, working one-on-one with our customers, helping them fill out order forms, answering their questions, and basically just helping them out in any way possible. Essentially, meeting with soccer moms is exactly what Andrew does.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if Andrew gave you a heads up. I guess he didn't because you don't really know who he is. But the pay is $15 guaranteed, which is not based on any sales or commissions. And by the way, there's no door-to-door or telemarketing or cold calling involved. So I guess you don't remember the way you know Andrew. I guess you guys met each other at a party or something.
I think you know what? You know, we were at this party at the pool, and
Okay.
no, it's a bunch of our friends. Yeah, he's in Chi-Phi, right? The fraternity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we have I knew who that guy is. Yeah, he's in business for sure.
Oh, so you went to FSU with him, or you still at FSU?
I am. I like it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. What's your major?
Pre-med.
Oh, you're pre-med? Do you know what kind of doctor you want to be at?
You know, probably pediatrician. My dad's a pediatrician, so I was thinking about.
Oh, no way. My mom's a pediatrician.
Get out of here. Where?
In Miami Shores.
I want to sell Cutco.
Oh, you do?
Stop. Okay. So. All right, ready? So let's start. Well, what went well? I want to start. It sounds way more natural than the other ones. Right? It's kind of like, oh, you don't know the guy. Oh, I don't know. He kind of mentioned you. I guess he knew you. Like it was that part was very natural. Andrew, you're gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell you got nervous just at that one line.
Yeah,
Other than that, it's like a lot more. It just seemed a lot more natural. Like didn't really seem like super scripted. There's a couple places just stumbling, like losing place, being more so like just nervousness. But other than that, it seemed like
yeah. There's a difference
between.
between stumbling because you're nervous, and everyone's watching you, and you're pissed at your friends who are laughing at you in tally.
Yeah.
I get it. But there's a difference between that and I'm nervous because I haven't really done much of this. How many peers have you said? Or how many of you essentially talked to? Could you summarize?
Maybe like 10 or 15.
10 to 15? About that? Yeah.
A lot of practice.
Yeah, we practice.
Okay, sounds good. Area of opportunity? Like you got to do more, obviously.
You're gonna get that sometimes. I'm like, oh, I don't know this guy.
I think your area of opportunity is just to get comfortable with all the objections, so it splits. So what's the what are the one or two objections that you get that it's so easy to handle because you get all the time?
I don't know.
Actually, no.
No,
Sometimes you get that. Ready? I already have a job. No. What is the job? Wait, what is the job? What is this? Just the same word. Costco? What?
Oh my gosh.
What are you showing? What are you
I've
selling?
actually had
Okay, sounds good. I would give. What score would you give,
No.
district manager?
don't sell cuts.
Why you? Honestly.
Yeah, I would say
I say
close,
approaching a 4.
more so approaching a 4 or over a 4. I would give it like a solid 4 right there to make an easy number. Okay. Yeah.
I had.
Oh my god.
Yeah, please.
Friends.
Of course. Go ahead.
So basically, how do you get with that one? Some sort of.
Can't hear you.
How do you get with the event? I don't know, do that. But you should have the. fun of you. So, like, I'm not sure that, you're talking, they do these things.
Yeah. Okay. Let me pause you, Eddie, because it's kind of it's muffled. What he's saying is you should have facts about the person on your sheet and take notes of them. So, who is this? Andrew Evans. Actually, you might know him. He's in Chi Phi fraternity. He's also in the business fraternity. Yeah, he's also in student government. He's do you play lacrosse? Yeah, he's on the that Andrew Evans. Yep, that's him. Like, you have to be able to, and it also shows that we really know who he is. Yeah, that's the big part. It's not just a name they're throwing out. That's a big part. Like, oh, I've been close to Andrew because we worked together. Andrew.
Yeah, I think what you did good was the authenticity of like actually being like kind of like it's kind of, I mean, it is weird when someone like doesn't know who that person is. So like addressing it like it's not kind of weird. Like I was telling this to our TLA class the other day. I was like, it's almost you like kind of joke with them. So the first response like, oh, you don't know Andrew, like you don't know.
Yeah. Who is that? I don't even know who that guy is.
Wait, sorry.
I'm sorry. Andrew, Julia Ortiz. I don't even know her. Who is that?
Oh yeah, you don't know Julia? She just graduated from Ransom this past year. She's going to University of Miami next year. She's like a volleyball player. Julia Ortiz, never met her.
You know what? Honestly, man, I think so, but
it's super weird then. I don't know, maybe met her like a party or a class or something, but
maybe,
obviously,
yeah. I mean, I haven't.
Enough to get enough impression on her. She actually recommended you as someone who's maybe looking for work, would just be a good.
And it just kept going. See that?
You got a quick second? Let me tell you a little more about it. All right, cool. Like,
do you guys hear that? Okay, good. You should run it off. Oh, sorry. Let's give Santa Julia. Nice. Okay. Mila, thanks. Come on up. And then we'll break up into groups here. I just want to give a couple of examples here. I would have gone Eddie, but Eddie, you went at COC, and so did Mila, didn't you?
What about Trent? His beautiful voice.
Okay.
I don't think
Go ahead.
so. I feel like I would remember that. You did.
When you're ready. Hello?
Hi, Jeff. This is Mila from Vector. I work with your friend Andrew. How are you?
Andrew.
Andrew Evans. He's in Chi Phi, FSU.
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah,
Okay.
my man.
Awesome. Did he mention I was going to be giving you a quick call?
No, you know what? I saw him last week, but we haven't connected.
No worries. I probably just got to you before he did. So the reason I'm calling is because Andrew just started working with us.
I'm sorry, with who? What company?
Okay, so the name of the company is Vector, and like I said, he just started working with us. He's doing really well. I knew we were looking to fill a few more spots on our team. So he recommended you as someone who was possibly looking for work and would be a great fit.
So it's a job?
Yeah, it is a job.
What is it? Like, what do you do?
So great question. And like I said, the name of the company is Vector. Has Andrew told you anything about it by chance?
No, I like I said, I haven't talked to him in a little bit. So what is it exactly?
Okay, so I actually wanted to tell you a little bit more about it real quick, but just to confirm, you're at least 17, right?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, so name is again Vector, and we've been in business since 1981. The openings we have are an entry-level customer sales and service. So simply working one-on-one with our customers, helping them fill out order forms, answering their questions, and just helping them in any way possible. The pay is $15 guaranteed, so that's not based on sales or commissions. Okay. And by the way, there is no door-to-door or telemarketing involved as well.
Do you mind if I call him? Like, I knew he was doing something. Do you mind if I talk to him and then give you a call back?
Yeah, sure. I'd expect you to talk to Andrew. And the reason I was reaching out now is because there's a lot of people applying for the position. And since you were recommended, we wanted to give you a little priority in scheduling. And the interview is actually non-committal. So I'd say at least check it out. And from there, if it's not for you, then no big deal.
Yeah.
But I do at least want to put you ahead of the other applicants in the interview process. So, by the way, how do you know Andrew?
Like I said, from friends, and we actually go out together, so we have the same circle of friends.
Sounds good. So I'm assuming you go to school together too, right?
Yeah, we're at FSU.
Okay, what are you studying up there?
I'm still undeclared, so I'm a sophomore now. I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, you still have time to figure it out for sure. Do you have any sort, like what do mom and dad do? Were you thinking maybe following in their footsteps?
No, business, I think. My dad owns a business, and I might be following his footsteps.
Okay. For sure. Are you involved in anything on campus?
Just student government, but I'm not really involved. I just signed up for it.
Just signed up for the resume, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay, and have you had any experience working while you've been at FSU, working with people? I'm assuming with government you have some experience with maybe any part-time work.
If given the opportunity, I feel pretty comfortable.
Okay, so the reason I ask is because we do work with people and offer a lot of great resume experience in that sense, and we do have very flexible schedules that would work around your student government commitment.
Okay, stop for a second. What went well so far?
Yeah.
I'm just doing quicker for her, so I already know. What went well for seniors? Go ahead.
Very well in establishing the connection, how they knew, and being genuine about building that connection and rapport and making sure that you knew who you choose something about.
Okay, good. What else went well?
You get a few
Yeah, pretty comfortable. How many can you even count? Hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds, right?
Decent, and a lot of scripts.
So
too.
I want to go to the constructive because you're from Miami. The only thing I would say, Mike said this very quickly: give a little to get a little, and then get a little. Give a little, then get a little. Ready? So what you said, let's role play. We'll reverse. So what's your major? Oh no, what are you studying? What's your major?
I'm undecided, not too sure yet.
Cool. Okay. Have you thought about what you want to do?
No, not really. I might want to follow my parents' footsteps in business, but
Yeah. What do your parents do?
they both work for Microsoft.
Okay. So like sales, business.
More marketing.
Cool. So I'm interviewing her right now. Versus. So what do you go to school at FSU?
Yes.
How do you like it?
It's alright.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually on campus the other day, and I know what you're saying. Right? I have friends up there. I'm from Miami, but like they went up and they're all fired up, and it's all right. What don't you like about it?
It smells weird.
Yeah. Yeah. What was your second choice? What's your second choice that you're not going to?
Florida.
Yeah, actually, a friend of mine goes there. They're really smart, so I think I'll go there. Yes. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, get some information, give some information, get some information, give some information. What do you think about for major pre-med? Cool. Why pre? Oh, actually, a lot of my friends give some information. Get some. Okay, so and what do you think? And why pre-med for you instead of why this? Interview you. Interrogate. Interview. Here's the job interview. It's not as connecting. Cool. What score would you give Mila?
0.
Mid-fours, yeah. Let's say mid-fours, for the most part. I was trying to think of a question that really threw you off. I don't know. Other than, stop freaking calling me. I don't know what to say. Okay. Let's go snaps for Mila. Okay. So let's do this, okay? You guys get a sense of what we're looking for the most part? Okay, so let's do this. For all the other guys, if you guys could break out, it is now exactly 6:40. I'm going to call some audibles so we're okay on time. It is 6:46. I'd like to get this done in 30 minutes. Okay, and I'm gonna text specifically Carlos, Jackson, and David to get time frames and ETA. But I'd like to get this done in 30 minutes. So right now, I'm just gonna mute the Zoom here, and we're gonna just break off into groups. Hub leaders, if you could just put the name of your go to the spreadsheet and just put the score that you give them. And at the end, sometime tonight or tomorrow, send me the Excel spreadsheet with their scores. Okay? Cool. Jackson, you good? Carlos, you good? David, you good? Okay, you guys can score away. And it is now 6:47. Let's say 6:17. Okay, so for everyone here, so we'll mute this. Let me do this. Okay, hold on. So Jackson, you guys are good to go. I'll mute you guys out. Okay. So let's do this. The scores are going to be Andrew, Karina, Delgado. Was Orlando available? He's not even paying attention here. I thought he was here. Yeah.
You might have just done that.
No, that's okay. 1, 2, 3. I'll score 4. Maggie, I'll help you. I'm okay with you scoring. Okay. So 5. All right. So everyone count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, right? And if you already went, you don't count. You just kind of chill out. Ready? 1,
2, 3, 4,
5. 1. 2. Are you sure? Okay. 3.
4, 5,
1,
3,
4, 5. 1, 2.
3.
Okay. 4. Okay, got it. Okay, so 1's with David. Lobby. Go. Yeah, stay here. Spoken like a true pilot, I think. Two with Maggie. Two with Maggie. What's that?
I thought it was 5. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No.
Okay.
You are going to be in the receptionist room. Go.
Oh no.
3. We'll be in Beth's office. Where's Beth? Karina? 3, go Karina. 4. Andrew, you can go to my office. I'll go to my office. You want my office? Which one do you want my office?
Down for your office.
Okay. 4, my office.
Thank
Andrew.
you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Who's 5?
Lauren, Katie, really good. Wait, who's 4?
Okay, so Mila, if you could just take notes on the scoring.
You want me to see if I can find Orlando?
What's that?
See if I can find Orlando?
That's right. That's fine.
Oh, do you want me to do it on the
Who's
Excel?
who's 5 that hasn't gone yet? Come here. How many of you?
Do you want me to put it on the spreadsheet?
Are you gonna roast them right now? Julia, what are you gonna say? Stop picking your nose,
They
bro.
were like sending me videos of myself being like, ha 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 ha. What's wrong with you?
You should say too bad yet. Wait, who sent it?
Eddie.
Oh, he can do that. He's your manager.
I know.
I know.
Jeff, I can put it on the Excel sheet and then we send you out the one.
Okay. Is there anyone specifically you'd like to watch, manager-wise, to get critique and watch, or you can just watch this too? Up to you. I would say go with Karina. Find Karina. Yeah, that'd be good. Aiden, go sit in on Andrews. Okay. Cool. Kobo. You don't need to get up. Okay. Okay. Is it just really the 3 of us? What? Cool with me. Now we can practice more. Okay. So the key. Here's the thing, right? And I want you can be honest. There's no right or wrong. I just want to see where you're at. How many calls have you made? Pure calls.
I'm making my first tomorrow.
Okay, so start tomorrow.
15, 20.
15 to 20.
0.
0. Okay. So it might be better. you should role play. I think that's gonna be better, and I'll watch you. So I'll watch you first, and then we'll just role play because I think I know what I'm gonna get. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna give you a 1 or 2. It's not a big deal because 1 or anything under 3 is the same. Right? And if you haven't made any calls, you're probably not gonna get a 3. Question?
Wait, can we try to get a 3? Because I'd rather like try to do it and get a higher score than.
Can I give you my honest answer?
Yeah.
The score right now means nothing in your matrix in the grand scheme of things.
Then
Yeah. I'd rather you practice and then give feedback. So good. I like that attitude. Good. So let's start with you. You made about 15, 20? How many of you have set?
4.
4. Do you know how many showed? Did you find? You should find out. Or did no one show?
I have no idea. I wasn't here.
Yeah, find out from David. Say how many of mine showed from my PR calls. Okay, so let's practice real quick. So we'll go first, and then if we have time, we'll go. Okay, ready? There's only like 3 of you. No, we'll listen to this.
Okay.
I'll have you go for a little bit, see what happens, and we'll role play. Okay. So, hello.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff. This is
Jack. Ready? Sorry, ready? Hello.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff. This is Jack Osborne, one of Alexa's managers at her job. How are you?
Good.
Did Alexa mention that I was going to be calling?
No. I actually talked to her in a little bit. What is this again?
Yeah, no problem. So, the name of the company is Cutco. We've been around since 1981, and the openings we have are an entry-level customer sales and service, working one-on-one with our customers, helping them fill out order forms, answering their questions, and basically just helping them out in any way possible.
Okay.
Just before I get started, you're at least 17, right?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay, great. So the pay is $15 guaranteed, which is not based on sales or commissions. And by the way, there's no door-to-door cold calling or telemarketing involved as well.
So what is the job?
So the job is Cutco. Again, it's in sales, customer service, and basically it's a big student program that offers internships and all
All right, we rolling? Okay. Quick question. So let's get some feedback on drill for skill. What are you taking from just the whole thought of drill for skill, specific to PR approach, Mr. Devin?
It shows how much you have to get prepared before you actually make calls.
Yeah, there's a lot of preparation before making calls. I agree. Go ahead.
It's really nice to get peer feedback from other people who have a lot more experience in it.
Yeah, so always put yourself in a position with people more experienced to help you. That's a good one. Kind of putting those words in your mouth, but you know what I'm saying? Like, be around managers a lot and get critique. Ready? I'm also convinced more than ever that there's really less and less excuse for someone to get good at running our business, because the computers of today and the technology of today allow us to do whatever we want. I'm looking at people, and I'm looking at the Tampa office right now. I'm chimed into Fordham University with Alejandra Carrasco. I'm looking at Sofia Vega in New Orleans. I'm looking at all that crew in Tallahassee. And I'm looking at Christina Fernandez's nose, or their face, in San Juan. Christina, your face is always like this. Like every other face like this. Okay, there you go. I like it. Okay, so here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have Karina be our final message. There are two other messages if you look at the agenda, okay? One is financial, and the other is advanced planning. In a nutshell, the financial message really is just a few things to set up next prep, September 29th. So I can do that in less than 2 minutes, which I'll do at the end. The planning is really a review of Mike Abromowitz's message to make sure that now that we're starting with school, we're really getting things rolling. Okay, everyone cool with that? Karina, what you'll need to do? Are you on Zoom? You'll need to open your Zoom here. David, maybe help her out. Open her Zoom.
I can air justice to that.
Okay. So, couple things, and as Karina's wrapping up, everyone take out notebook and pen. Let me give you a couple of final assignments and get things rolling here. Okay, and this will all be posted on WhatsApp and on email, but I want to make sure you guys have this. Okay. Okay, Karina's going to cover this, but the next prep, you will be responsible for your drill for skill for the first half of the interview that she's going to cover today. Okay, so the script. Okay, so the script. Okay. So the scripts are all already in your folder, and on Wednesday at this local prep, and you can put this in this coming Wednesday, the managers will let you role play for the first time. Has anyone here already run their first interview or about to in the next couple of weeks? Yeah, so you're already ahead of the game, which is great. Okay. For the money talk, I need you to figure out your big three. And I'll talk about this. And if some of you remember this from last year, here's your big three. I need you to find your big three of what it costs weekly for the following three things. Number one, and it might be zero if your parents pay for everything. That's an acceptable answer. Number one, gas. Number two, food for you, either groceries or going out and food. And three, fun. So what do I want you to do? I want you for the next 4 weeks until I see you. Starting, we'll go Monday to Monday. I want you to track what you spent on gas, food. That's groceries plus if you go out to Chipotle. Plus if it's 2 a.m. you get a pizza. Like all that, okay? And then number three, gas, food, and any fun that you have. Like going out to the bars, movies, not shop. Oh, I get not shopping, just like fun. Like it's recreational, fun, social.
It's good.
Any questions on that?
Serotonin.
Thumbs up if you got me. San Juan good? Tampa good? Tallahassee, I don't see you.
I come over after this.
Oh, Tallahassee got knocked off. Where's Tally? Okay, and ready? Let me get everyone. I've got 8 conversations. I need one. I've got 8 conversations. I need one. I've got 8 conversations going on. I need one. Can I get one? Cool. All right. I just want to get out of here. You're good. I'm stalling. Good. Oh, good. So the big three. I'm just moving things ahead. The reason I need you to do that big three is I'm going to work that into the next prep on budgeting. I'm going to talk about savings and different buckets of money, and it's going to be really helpful for you to have that big three. And I'm going to ask you, hey, can you show me where you tracked it? Okay, so whether you use an Excel sheet and the person checking you in will ask you, okay, so Max, how much do you spend on gas a week, food a week, and fun a week? Okay, and that will help implement and start our $100 rule and all the great things that come from that. Book review. Okay, we're going to table the book review. So when do I speak to you every week? On Wednesdays. So instead of taking 30 minutes, I'm going to take 45 of the, I'm going to take half of the hour and a half this week instead of just 30. So I'm going to cover opening comments. I'm going to talk about the SOC push a little bit more and the planning for it. I'm also going to do the book review there. And then the rest of your Wednesday will be role-playing the interview that Karina's talking about. Okay? And there's also going to be a link, last thing, Mila. There's going to be another link for planning. There's going to be a Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, it's in the agenda, Jim Rohn audio on using your journal. And I want you to have listened to that audio. You have 3 weeks to listen to it. It's only, I think it's 45 minutes long. You can break it up. And I want you to be able to send me the notes the night before the prep. Okay? And your managers will talk to you about this. There's a 1-page sheet. It says 1-page debrief summary. And all it is, I don't want all of your notes for the video. All I want you is to summarize your notes onto that 1 page, and that's what you submit. Okay, and we'll review this again so you have it all. So any general questions? And if you're watching the video, you also will be responsible for the same assignments. Okay? Good stuff on the first one. Tally's back up. I'm going to wrap things up before we head out of here, and I give you one last review. I want to bring Karina up to unleash our next Jewel for Skill. And now that you have people that you know how to call to bring in, thanks to Mike, thanks to our Drill for Skill, you now have to do the next phase of the funnel. What's the next phase? Once they get to an office, what's the next step? We have to interview them, aka we have to get them to show to what? The training. Right? If you get a lot of people that come in, if you don't have a good interview, that's like having a lot of people say yes to the appointment. They show up and they're there for the appointment, but they don't buy anything. Okay? And this next step is the interviews, the recruiting class. So the reason I have Karina on this message is because every year for, I don't know, the last 8 years, she's taught this. Why? Because since she was my pilot sales manager, she has always consistently for her career had one of the highest shows to interview and has been one of the most effective in developing recruiters and training recruiters. Okay? So Karina's going to give you the objectives of the group interview. Please take notes. We're excited. Some snaps for Miss Karina Marquez. Thank you, Karina.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a little bit of feedback.
I can mute this.
Got it.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, go for it. Just keep in mind you're being broadcast, so you want to stay around the mat area, please.
Okay. So they can see that. Perfect. All right. So I'm excited to give this message. For me, when I started to learn how to run the interview, it was a pretty cool aspect of the business. There's just so many things that you have to keep in mind of. It really helps you in terms of learning how to read people. You learn how to just present information a lot more confidently and professionally. And it's really just the next demo, if you will, right? So I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. And it's just like the demo, right? You need to read the manual.
It's on those computers.
I got it.
Can you hear me?
Go for it.
You need to know the manual, right, in order to do the demo. With all the tips I can give you at the end of the day, you need to just learn the script as fast as possible, and then the recruiting starts getting a little bit more advanced, right? But I'm going to give you I'm going to try to give you a few just main keys that will just help you right away in terms of learning the script. These are the 3 things you can write down in your notes. So the objectives, right, on the recruiter's end, first of all, to give clarity to applicants, right? So are they clear on the position? And that's easy because you just read from the script and you will give the right information. So it's not too hard there. Number 2, do you have control, right? Are you someone that they want to work with because you actually act like a manager and you act like you're in control of your job? And then last, just don't be impressed, right? As long as you're not impressed with them as an applicant, it doesn't matter how sharp they are, they feel like they're earning their position. Keep in mind that the people that we want to recruit to the business, they have, positions lined up with their parents, they have, plenty of options for them. And you want this to be something that they're actually working for. So Doesn't matter how sharp the applicant is, doesn't matter what school they go to. As a recruiter, we are not impressed. So you're going to learn the interview as the weeks progress. You really don't actually know the interview till you've run at least, I would say, 10 to 15. I used my script for my interview, I don't even know, for a couple years at least. And I just always had that on me. So realize that you're really selling the opportunity now. So just to clarify what Jeff said, you're getting applicants, right? People that were painstakingly going through our advertisements. Most of us, we're paying money, right, for these applicants through either online ads or we go to campus. This is our blood, sweat, and tears, right, going into it. And we are turning them into a trainee, right? So the more clear you are, the more control you have, and the more they have to earn the position, the higher your show percentage will be to a trainee, right? So as you get better at the interview, there's definitely more advanced things you can do, but this is like as simple as I can make it. And you're really just selling the opportunity. Now, a lot of people, when they come in, either already know about the opportunity because they have a friend that starts working here. They might have just heard about us for the first time. Sometimes you'll get people that think this is a scam, right, or a sketchy job. But again, the more clear you are, the better you can sell them on the opportunity. So that's our product, really, is the Vector job. So let me break down the interview just to give some clarity on everything. First of all is the pre-screen, right? Most of you probably went through this. If you were a one-on-one interview, you probably didn't have a pre-screen. But the pre-screen is just the first section where we're screening through the applicants, and I'll break that down in a bit. Then you have the group, where it's the people that you've selected from the pre-screen. Now they're in a group section. And this can range from 3 to 5 up to 10 or 20 people in the peak of a summer. And then you have the post. So I'm going to try to just briefly go over the main points of each section of the interview. The easiest one for you guys to do, even by Monday, is the pre-screen. Raise your hand if you've already run a pre-screen. Okay, so about half the room. This is very simple because there's already a sheet with the pre-screen already laid out, and you don't even have to memorize it. You can just have the applicant that you're interviewing have their application right on the clipboard. You kind of flip it up as if they're like you're reviewing the resume, you're reviewing your notes, and you just read right off the pre-screen. So when you run, a few of those, you'll definitely be good to go. But the pre-screen's not hard. In general, for the pre-screen, again, you want to be not impressed. So pretend that this is an application. You're just reading through it. And you're like, okay, so you've worked for Google. Okay, how was that? Just like you're not. Like it's just a very neutral face, right? Again, as you get more advanced, you'll figure out your perfect demeanor. I'm not here to kind of go over all the different demeanors. That's more Jeff's public speaking talk. But you can never go wrong with neutral. You do want to handle schedule conflicts. So it being the school year, a lot of people are taking classes. Some people might even have a second job. So on the application, is everyone familiar with like the schedule part of the application, right? So they can write down their schedule. Some people might not put anything, right? Some people might put high school, right? So they get out every day. Some people, I don't even know. I've seen like a bunch of different things put on there. So you want to clarify their schedule. So don't assume that whatever they put on there is what's actually going on. So to give you an example of how you do this, let's say they go to school, from 7 to 2 every day. You're just like, all right, so this is your current schedule right now for school. Okay, and you don't have anything going on afterward. All right, now it's selected. This would interfere with training. The job itself is very flexible. A lot of people do this around classes. The only thing that's not flexible is training. So if selected, I just need to know, would you be able to get out of school for a one-time training? Okay, cool. So there's not really a formal script to that. You just want to make sure that their schedule doesn't conflict with training. And because you're in the pre-screen, right, they haven't gotten the job yet, they're going to work that much harder to get accepted, right? So they'll be like, oh, no, yeah, for sure, I can get out of school, no problem. Versus if you wait till after, it's not really going to go as smoothly. So if I had more time, I'd go into more specifics. But in the local prep next week, when you guys cover the pre-screen, I definitely recommend to practice that a few times in terms of handling scheduling conflicts. Some people might have another job, or they might be in classes. Classes is typically the most common one. And in general, you want to get a feel for the applicant. So this is where you figure out if you're going to keep them for the group section or not. 90% of the time, the people that you accept from the pre-screen to the group are people that you're going to want to keep on your team. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? So if there's someone that you're trying to get like a read on, maybe they're not necessarily, maybe they're a little rough around the edges, or maybe you're just not quite sure where you stand with them, I recommend ask them a few questions. Right? Here's some questions you can ask if you want to write down in your notes. What made you choose your major? Right? What made you choose your major? Tell me more about that. It says here you did blank in school. Tell me more about that. You can say things like, you know, if everything were to work out, what would you be looking to gain out of this job? Income, experience, advancement. There's probably more questions you can ask, but the objective behind those questions is that you want to get them talking and you want to generate an organic conversation to see if there's someone that you'd be excited about working with. Some people are a little bit more shy in the beginning. They might be a little bit nervous. It is an interview. A lot of people, this is the first interview they ever go through. Raise your hand if this was your first job and first interview ever. Yeah, so you can relate. So try hard not to be too quick to judge. So if you want, you want to try to get a feel for them. Some people, it's an easy decision. Some, not so much. All right? So let's move on to the group. So I'm going to break down each section of the group interview. When you get the email, including the actual interview packet, it might seem a little bit overwhelming. It's about 13 to 15 pages off the top of my head. It's really not that hard. Once you run a few, you'll get the gist of it. What's cool is it's the job, right? You guys do the job. So it's not like you're memorizing new information. You're just trying to memorize how to give that information in the right order, right? So first is the intro, right? Where you want to write down next to intro, memorize as soon as possible. Memorize the intro as soon as humanly possible. This is the first time that you are speaking to them in a group setting. The more confident you are, the more calm, cool, and collected you are, the better it's going to be. Right? Not going to go into too much detail, but you're just basically going over the process of what's going to happen. Then you talk about the company. That'll be relatively easy for you guys to get down. You're just talking about what the job is, or rather you're establishing credibility, if you will, like the demo. Then you're going to go into the product. The note I want you to put under product is, this is not a demo. This is not a demo. On a demo, when you cut the rope, when you cut the leather, when you cut a pineapple or cut a tomato, how do you normally act? You get excited, you get hyped, right? You get super into it. Do not do that in an interview, okay? It's supposed to be nonchalant. You're supposed to cut the penny and act as if you just poured yourself a cup of water, right? As if it's something you do every day. And by the way, for most of you, that is something you do every day, right? Do not be impressed by your own product. Don't get super salesy. Don't get really into it. Because let's say you're recruiting somebody that is very shy, very awkward, very to themselves, but could be really good at the job, and they see a very salesy person. Are they going to relate to you? Are they going to think they can do the job? No. They're going to think, that's cool, but I'm not like that guy. I'm not like that girl. So I wouldn't be able to do this, right? You're showing off the product and the position. You're not showing off you. You're a neutral personality, if you will, that's not impressed by anyone that's in front of you. Does that give clarity? Okay. Market. The note I want you to put under this, go slow. Go very slowly. This is when you're explaining not just what the job is, but more so why it works, right? Then you have pay. Again, you want to go very slowly with pay. Some people are the most brilliant people you ever meet, but numbers, like, confuse the heck out of them. This is also a pay structure that's not like any other job they've ever applied for or any other job they've ever worked for. Again, some people have never even worked a job before. So don't assume that just because you said it, that they understood it. Okay? Then you have training, which I would say is the easiest of the sections to go through. And then you have perks. Under perks, I would also put memorize as soon as possible. Memorize as soon as possible. Perks is also pretty easy to memorize because a big section of it is talking about your team, right? So I would run through your team section with each of your individual managers just to make sure that it's something that it's consistent with them. Every office is different. In the email that was sent out, it's a very just more bulleted team section, but you want to go ahead and make sure that you have a custom one for your office, right? And then you have the post. That's where you either accept or reject the applicant. Again, 90% of the time, what are we doing with the applicants? We're accepting them. Okay. So the post, this is how it breaks down. All you do, it's very simple. You're asking follow-up questions to the applicant, which your managers can outline for you in the next prep. You're accepting them for the position. Again, I'm not going to go into the full details on how to do that yet. And you're giving them an assignment to work on their names list for training. Before you run an interview, you want to practice this a few times. Probably the most important part of the post, because it sets up how they show up to training, it sets up their first week in success, and it's actually a pretty simple thing to execute. All right? Does this give clarity on how it all breaks down? Okay. I'm going to give you very simple keys on how to make sure this goes well. So here's some keys just for beginners. First and foremost, just stay on the script, please. Don't deviate. Here's why. As a district manager, I cannot help you if you're saying something different than what I say. Does that make sense? Right? Great example. When I was a new recruiter, I did a lot of things wrong. I was also a late acceptance into TLA, so I didn't hear this message. And I'll put it this way. They showed up to the first day of training. They did not show up to the second day of training. Because you want to be consistent with what your managers say in day one, right? As the second there's inconsistency, then the show to the next day drops, right? Because they're like, hey, what I heard in the interview is not what I'm hearing in training. So they're not going to want to show up the next day, right? So staying on the script is just, again, helps all of us universally, not just with training, but that way we can help each other out, right? Body language is important. If you don't know anything of what you're saying, at least if you say it confidently enough and it looks like you know what you're saying, you're totally fine. All right, so my friend Beck, when she was first running interviews, she's like, all right, my name is Becca Chavarria. I'm the assistant manager here at the Miami-Dade County office. Let me just review the process just so everyone knows I'm looking at done here today. What you just went through was a quick pre-screen. Right now I'm going to go over all the details just so you're clear on everything we do. Then I'll meet with you afterward and I'll let you know how it goes. They just changed the script on me, so I'm just going to read right off of it. That way I don't miss anything. All right? And then she just would literally read right off of it. And then she just had a powerful pose, and then just and then you'd look down and you kind of sometimes know what follows afterward. Right? And then she'd cut the rope, she'd cut the leather with them, and then just pick up the script again. Lost my place. Okay, obviously in her head. Okay, anyway. So, like I was saying, as long as like you look confident, it really doesn't matter if you know what you're doing or not. So as you're learning how to run the interview, all of you should be having practice interviews, which your manager will discuss when that is for you. You're definitely going to be super nervous and you're not going to know what you're doing. It'll be a wreck the first time. It'll get better as you go on. Don't worry about it, but just make sure your body language is on point. It'll go a long way. Take your time. Pausing goes a long way. Right? Don't be afraid to take a power pause every once in a while. I just took 2 in the past 15 seconds. It doesn't seem weird, does it? So you want to think about the energy. I say this to my reps in training. When you go shopping, have you go shopping at like Ross or Marshall's before? Like I hate it. I cannot. Just that energy that is just so clustered and so unorganized. It just makes me not even want to go there. If you shopped at like Saks before or Nordstrom, like and like slightly higher end places, It's just so nice. Everyone's pleasant. Like, you don't even know what time it is. It doesn't matter. You just spend hours in there. So think of that, right? How is your energy in the interview? Calm, cool, collected at all times. So again, if you don't know what you're doing, as long as you pause, take your time. It's not awkward at all. If anything, it shows that you're just being careful with what you're saying. Last, and I can talk for hours on this subject, but you want to be sharper than your applicants. You don't need to necessarily spend a lot of money on your outfit in order for it to look like you spent a lot of money on your outfit. Does that make sense? So small things, like gentlemen, right? Always having a tie clip is a good investment. Costs what, 10 bucks? Not even, right? Pocket squares. It's just the little things go a long way, right? Ladies, right? Making sure you always have some makeup on. You don't need like a ton of makeup, but you want to show that you put some effort onto it. You know, just making sure you're groomed. Everyone in general, just being groomed goes a long way too. Maybe spray some stuff on before you start your interview, right? Always have a blazer, right? Always have a blazer. Ladies, I wear dresses from time to time, but I always make sure to have a blazer, put some powerful heels on there. Make sure your dresses aren't like too tight or too short, right? Same thing with like a skirt, I would say. Pencil skirts are great. They definitely, I love a good pencil skirt, but again, nothing too tight, nothing too short. If you have to question it, you probably shouldn't be wearing it. That's just the general rule of thumb.
Yeah, that's good.
It's true, right? Gentlemen, you don't wear makeup, but you gotta do something with your hair. It's true. Like put a little bit of product in there. Just, you know, it shows that you cared enough to put yourself together in the morning. Does that make sense, right? So we're not asking for a ton here. You don't need to have like $200 pair of shoes. You don't need to have a $500 tux or $1,000 tux. But just, you know, look like a recruiter. Look like someone that when someone walks in, they're like, I want to be like that person. Okay. So here are easy things that even if you're not running the interview, you can help with the show to training. So group announcements go a long way. I'm going to post this in the TLA chat after my message. If you're an assistant manager this summer, you're probably familiar with my group announcements. So let's say you walk into a room, into your waiting room, wherever your applicants are waiting, there's like 4 or 5 people. Put yourselves in the applicant's shoes. I mean, you guys were the applicants a few months ago. Weren't you like, some of you weren't confused, right, when you first walk in? You're like, what is this place? If your office is like a little sketchier, you're like, what the hell am I walking into? So our office is at least. So you want to provide, again, clarity, and you want to have what? Control, right? So walk in. Hey, everyone, just to introduce myself, my name's Karina Marquez. I'm an assistant manager here at the Miami-Dade County office. I just want to provide some clarity on what we're doing here. Right now, we're accepting applications from all over the Miami-Dade County area. So I appreciate your patience. Go ahead and fill out the applications. If you brought a resume, attach it to the back, and my manager will meet with you shortly. Is anyone done with their applications yet? Okay, your name Nicole, right? Nice to meet you, right? Shake their hand, collect their application, make sure everything looks good. Again, is that rocket science? Everyone feels like that's doable. You don't need to know the interview to help the interview. So I'll post that group announcement on the chat later, but it's like nothing complicated, I promise. Motion creates emotion. If you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, is someone going to want to work for you? Probably not. Right? There was one interview in the summer where I had probably like 30-something people there. I was by myself. It was like right after training. I'm like, hey, everyone, I appreciate your patience. As you can see, we have a lot of people applying right now. So I definitely can't guarantee anyone anything, but I'd love to meet with everyone just to get a gauge of the room. So if you can help me out here, if anyone else walks in, if I'm meeting with someone else, if you can just ask them to take a seat, I'll be with them shortly. Thank you so much again. I appreciate your patience. I'll try my best to meet with everyone as fast as possible. Just walk around, ask them some questions, right? That's not like, it's not a bad thing. But if you're like, hey, hi, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Like you're just like going like 50 miles an hour. It's just, you're not, it just looks like you're a hot mess, right? So calm, cool, collected. There's never anything wrong, right? There's never too many applicants. If anything, that's a very positive problem if you've run an office before. I love walking into too many people. I love it when there's no chairs. There's not enough chairs, rather. It's the best. We get excited. Your first interview, that has, I would say, 5 or more people the first time you run it is going to seem so big for you. I promise you, that is like the smallest interview you'll probably have next summer is 5 people. Your first 10-person interview. Oh my gosh, Orlando, there's 10 people in there. Yeah, we're a great opportunity. We have a lot of people showing up. Of course there's 10 people in there. Your first 20-person interview, you're gonna be like, oh my, don't show it, all right? Be a duck on water. Duck on water. How does a duck look when it's across the lake? Chilling. What's happening underwater? It's making moves. It's going crazy. It's true. So inside, you might be freaking out. That's okay. You'll get used to it. But can't look like you're freaking out. Because then, just again, put yourself in the applicant's shoes. Wait, what is this? Is this human trafficking? We're not. But like, if you seem like you're very nervous and very overwhelmed, why should they feel any better? Right? So here's some action steps for you. As soon as you get the script, review it. Right? Get used to it. Again, you're never really going to get used to it until you run 20 plus interviews probably. But familiarize yourself with it. If you have vision problems, right? I recommend print it in a larger font. Just set yourself up for success, even if it means it's more pages. Like, who cares? But at least when you look down, you'll be able to read it easier. If you need to double space the whole thing, that's cool. Whatever you need to do, make it easier for you. Observe your interview, your first interview, as fast as possible. Who's already watched one? All right, most of you. Good. By the way, you can never watch enough. The first time you watch it, you're just sitting there like, oh, I remember them doing this to me. Right? The second one, oh, okay, I get it now. You don't really get it until you've watched like a ton, I promise you. And then try to run your first practice interview as fast as possible. For those of you watching virtually and you're, let's say, off to college and you don't have a local office, run an interview for your friends. I had Elger Clapp. He broke his femur. Can you believe I broke a femur? At UCF, and he knew he was gonna be my assistant, so he was sitting in his dorm all day. He literally ran like a bunch of interviews for his best friends. Like all the football players at UCF know exactly what we do because he ran it like at least 8 to 10 times in his like little dorm room. It's true. I think we recruited a couple of them actually. After they heard it. So what this means, try to run your first one by Thanksgiving. That means you're on pace. And Orlando, let Jeff know I'm going to wrap up in like 2 minutes. If you can run it either between now up to Halloween, you are on the fast track, right? You're ahead of the schedule. And I recommend just run, like, you're never going to be perfect at it. You're like, oh, I want to read it a few more times. Who cares? Just literally read right off of it. It's not a big deal. You know the job. This isn't your first day of training where you've never talked about knives before. You've never talked about thermal resin or rivets and tang, and like you get nervous. But you guys know this stuff. You've already explained the job to your friends, your parents. Like, this is a new information. So as soon as you think you're ready or your manager thinks you're ready, you definitely want to run it as soon as possible. Here are the dates. So by the 29th, Jeff is going to drill the pre-screen up to either product or market. Forgot exactly which one he wanted to do. But definitely at least to product, if not all the way to market. And then by November 10th, from pay all the way to post. So those are your marks. Now at that point, you should have already run your first interview, most of you. And I promise you the drill for those will not be as forgiving as the ones for PR objections. I promise you. So you definitely want to make sure to know that as much as possible.
It's not a threat.
Oh, I know. Before we transition, any takeaways, any light bulbs?
I'll do takeaways.
It's like, where'd they go?
So I guess my biggest takeaway would be, especially for first time brand
words are hard to say. Branches. Whenever you're having a lot of people come in for an interview, asking applicants to help people that are coming in is huge. Yeah. Especially when you're just by yourself, which every branch is, especially when they're brand new. You're going to be running interviews back to back, meeting with people, and people are going to come in as you're meeting with someone. So just saying like, hey guys, this and this is what I'm doing. If someone comes in, can you tell them have a seat? I thought that was huge.
Yeah, I had to learn it the hard way when I was by myself for a lot of my interviews this summer. Yeah, Mila.
My biggest takeaway was, well, I've shown it this before, but just faking it, like fake it till you make it. I know when I first started, I was like, oh my god, I have to get it perfect right away. Like, I have to just how Dave does it.
Dave is just on a scale from 1 to Dave. Where do you fall? You're the new standard of excellence.
Yeah, so just faking it till you make it. Like they don't know what you're supposed to say. They have no idea. So
Yeah, it's true. Like a demo. Yeah, Max.
Being a duck on water. You know, no matter how like big the interviews, like the amount of people that are in the interview, 10, 20, 30, 40, just where you don't show any emotions. Think that it's normal.
That's most of those of you that will be a manager for the first time this summer. No matter what your position is, you have to get duck on water on like 80% of the stuff you experience. Right? A lot of times you say the wrong thing, but the outcome is good because you're just so confident.
But
like half of what Dave says sometimes isn't right. Half of what she says, what I say isn't right. But
give you
but
half the wrong information.
As long as half is right.
At least half is right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, one, like, not being impressed is as well, like, if recruiting is going well, and you'll know it as soon as you're doing the pre-screens, but, like, for me, especially over the summer when I have kids that are coming in that, like, are going to USC, and they're going to Stanford, and Dartmouth, and Harvard, and going to all these different places, I mean, let's be real, it's kind of hard to not sit there and be like, damn, but you have to really, like, keep congrats, like you are another one of the applicants like everyone else in this room, and I'm going to treat you just like we treat anyone else, and making sure they earn it. Those types of people have the heart for what they have in life, and they like to earn things, so giving them the opportunity to earn it. And then two, taking control was something that, you know, I was thinking with that, that's something like when I was working with Lauren this summer, you know, sometimes you'll have some unruly students that will want to, you know, they'll push the buttons, they know you're young, and they kind of want to like mess with it, and it's just immediately checking them right there. If you're not getting the desired outcome, like ask the question again more assertively, and just really taking control, because you're the recruiter, you're the one with the job, and they're not.
Spoken like a recruiter. De la Cueva. Al Waldo de la Cueva. Hey, I thought we've had a great. Before I give you, I'm going to wrap through the assignments one last time. We're gonna end early. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I just think. Let me give you the philosophy on this. There just comes a point in time where you just want to get the most important things done. Okay, and I'll fast forward like 3 months in TLA. You know the concept of a to-do list, right?
Yes, sir.
So you think about think about the 15 to 25 most important things to get done. You know, Warren Buffett used to have a board meeting every year, and he'd have his executives from all those different companies list off the top 20 to 25 things that are important for the year. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. Then he'd say, all right, what's most important? Circle the top 3. Okay, scrap the rest. Right. So in other words, what's your big 3? What are the most important things to get done? Today, we needed to set the tone for TLA. I feel like we accomplished that. Would you guys agree for the most part? Okay. 2, I wanted to make sure that we taught you PRs and the importance of PRs and how to start and get things rolling with PRs. Did we accomplish that today? Yes. And really, 3rd could be one of 3 or 4 different things. I think it could have been Karina's message on how to kickstart the next skill set. Okay. Or it could have just been getting the gang and the fam and the crew together. Seriously, because we need checkpoints. We all need checkpoints. I have a quarterly meeting every 4 times a year. The division managers meet for a meeting to reconvene and plan. I just had it in Dallas. Part of it was we got a lot of work done. Part of it is just seeing my boys, seeing the fam, and getting connected with most people don't enjoy what they do. I love what I do, and I love my colleagues, and I think it's kind of the same thing. We get energized, we get synergized when we unite. I love that. I should have said we get energized when we are united. No, okay. So really, if you could humor me by taking a look at the screen, or you can pull up your own copy of the agenda. Okay, I want to walk through the assignments, and then we'll get out of here early. For those of you that are in Tallahassee, in San Juan, or in Tampa, if there's a place you guys want to convene and get, I would suggest those of you that are up for it, grab something to eat together. Obviously, food will be on your own, but if get time with the crew, it's always good to debrief. Here, we'll see who's going to stick around. Some of you have a farther drive, so I get it if you have to roll. But if you want to stick around, we'll find a place, probably a sports bar, get some food, and break bread together, right? A team that eats together wins together. Okay? Questions so far? All right. Maybe if you're in Tallahassee, you guys should go to, what's that? Recess. Recess. I've been there. Painted. I've been to Painted. I got painted at Painted. What's that? Yeah. Okay. Hey, let's take a look at the screen, please. So if you have your agenda or your notes, I want to meticulously go through the assignments here, and I don't want anyone to miss this for the next prep. So I'd like you to make a little section in your notes for this coming Wednesday prep. Please make a note for this coming Wednesday's prep from 4 to 5:30. Here's what I'll cover, so you're going to be prepared. Number one, I'm going to cover situational leadership, that model of how to navigate through challenge that we mentioned ever so briefly earlier today. Number two, we're going to review SLC push strategies. SLC stands for Strategic Leadership Conference. I want to talk about the national contest with the Red Galleon and such, but also want to talk about a divisional contest that I'm going to put together. It's the 3K to Feast contest. Okay, it's going to be stupid simple to hit this contest. And the more contests you hit, the better, because you're getting more time with me, networking, you're up in your matrix, but it's only going to take you $3,000 to hit this contest. Okay? Then, on top of that, we are also going to do our book review for 4 Agreements on Wednesday. Okay. Be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Number 2, don't make assumptions. And always was.
Do your best.
And always do your best. Okay. Anyone get some light bulbs from the book?
Oh my God.
Yeah. How about helping you just live a little less stressful in life? Okay. Yes, sir.
All I was gonna add is that, by the way, if you feel like that book was really, really helpful and gave you a lot of light bulbs, imagine if for the next 40 years you're constantly immersing yourself in how many light bulbs you got out of that. Every time you read a book like that, it's it doesn't change. You get that much significance from it, and you continue to grow at that same level. Most of you guys are wow, this is mind blowing. Imagine if that was happening all year round for you, and who you could become in 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, that's not a light bulb.
It's called reading books. And
yeah, it's called growing yourself, right? Do what others won't. Okay. If you want to, I was always taught you want to try and be in the room and be the stupidest person in the room, because you're surrounded with people who are elevated, which will cause you to also what? Elevate, right? So if you want to elevate, read what the districts are reading. So I'm giving this on Tuesday. The districts already have this book, Positive Intelligence. Okay. Positive Intelligence. If you're looking to add a little spice. Next Level group is also going to be reading this book as well. So if you are first year, you want to act like and be like a Next Level, if you feel like it's appropriate to your capacity, go ahead and add this book. And I promise you, even just reading the first, I think it's 40 pages to understand what saboteurs are. This is what Scott Dennis talked about at SC2. Just to understand the different saboteurs and then take the free test online will make it worth your time. And by the way, who's already read the book? I'm a pleaser. I'm a pleaser. Heavy pleaser. And hyperachiever and stickler. Okay. Cool. Yes, sir.
What's the author's name?
Shirzad Shemaine. I'll picture Alexa.
My phone died.
She just got it. Okay, ready?
We had a backup.
Focus.
Always
Guys, we're here, and we're here, and we're here. Okay. That's my kindergarten teacher used to do that. We are here. What? Lady? All right. Drill for skill. I put in this assignment. Get 5 to 20 PR set or more set. Like set 5 to 20 or more PRs between now and then. And I want you to be able to quote that number. Set 5 to 20 PRs or more between now and then. You got 3+ weeks. If you can't get 5 PRs between now, I don't care if you go to school in Alaska. If you can't get 5 PRs set between now and then, you didn't try. Number 3, Olean. Did anyone already sign up for Olean? Oh, okay. So we're gonna end the prep a little early. Before you leave, sign up for Olean. Or ready? Here's my thing. Sign up for Olean before you leave, or text your manager. Hey, I need to get a combo about Olean. Either one, okay? But you can't miss either one. You either have to text your manager directly. If you're from the pilot, you text David. If you're from the pilot, you text David, or you text your direct district manager, or you sign up tonight to start getting charged for Olean. Got it? Any questions? Lasagna alone. Okay. But also start getting sponsored now. And you guys have the sheet. Print that sheet out and put it into your blue book. Next one, number 4. Number 4. Start getting your get your startup on point. I want you to take a look at the television real quick. This is an important number to look at all. Right here. Take a look. Okay. If you want to be a top branch manager candidate, getting to $1,000 by the time we get to the September 29th prep will significantly put you ahead of the curve. Okay, now if you can't physically and financially get there, I understand that. Not everyone's going to get ahead of the curve, right? The bare minimum is 100 right now, and then 500 is due by the. You just look at the sheet that it's in the first folder of all the benchmarks. But getting to 1,000 by the 29th puts you in a significantly, different stratosphere, if you will. Okay, and then the ranges, I would say about $3,000 or so puts you just right at the bare minimum to be able to run an office at a high level or be a high level assistant. $3,000 to $5,000 is average, and $5,000 to $10,000 plus puts you in a really high capacity for success. Okay. Financial fitness. Don't worry about the $100 rule. I'll talk about that actually on Wednesday. But big 3: gas, food, and fun. Any questions on that? That's pretty straightforward. I'll have you submit that at your Wednesday prep, the Wednesday before I see you next, so September 26th. Journal. Here's what I'd like to see. I'd like all of you to invest in a journal, but before you do, listen to the audio on YouTube, and then invest in a journal. Okay. So, for example,
is a link on the agenda we have.
It's links on the agenda. Yeah. So the time true tested one that I love is Moleskin. Moleskin. You can get it online. You can go to Barnes and Nobles. And I have probably right now about 10 of these old ones. And on my vacation, you guys will appreciate this next level. I read through the 2 previous ones. Oh man, a lot of growth. Yeah, I got shook. Okay, so I'll teach you to journal, but you want to listen to the audio. I will ask you to submit notes this time. Some of you totally BS the book review this one, and I know you did. Okay, either you did it last second, you didn't really do it. You know, you read the big bold first parts of the words and the first parts of the chapter, and you try to BS your way. You know how I know? Because I used to do it when I was in TLA. And then my manager said, hey, you know, it'd also be cool if you stop BSing your assignments. I just haven't said anything. You're right. Thank you, Fred Glazier. So invest in a journal, okay? I would say as cheap as $5 to $10, no more than 40 to 50. Like that's on the high end, and you probably won't want to talk to me if you're spending that. This cost, I think, 20 to 30 bucks. Maybe. No, I bought this at Barnes and Noble. As I was buying another. You can buy them all. You can go to Moleskin. Just Google it. Yes, sir.
Moleskin's expensive. My planner, it has sections like all in it. They're just like right down like. Mine's the Panda planner, so literally it like has like.
Can I interrupt you respectfully? Get a separate journal. Please, and you'll see why when you listen to the video. You'll see why. Okay. And that, by the way, what you have in your planner, and if you have notes for that, I think it's great. And we need this to cover the strategy I'm going to cover. Cool. Okay. Good. Next one. Good question, by the way. So listen to the communication. It says notes submitted to your DM by Friday the 28th. Okay. In fact, I'm going to have you probably just submit it to your DM and then they submit it to me. The notes. There's in your folder number 1. It says debrief notes. It is a 1-page document. That's where I want you to take your notes on the Jumroan audio, and that is going to be due by 9 p.m. Friday night before the prep. I always love it when people send it at 8:58. It says a lot. It says a lot. I love when people send it late or don't send it at all. It says even more. So just don't be that guy or girl, please. Got it? Communication, make sure you're engaged with the WhatsApp and the email. And then I want you to circle or highlight or put in your notes SLC push. This is something we talked about a little bit. Okay. It is imperative that you have a PC. In fact, it says next 10 days. That's actually inaccurate now. You really need to have your PC no later than Wednesday. Okay? Thursday, Friday latest. But here's why you want to have your PC. Because you need to figure out how many appointments you're going to do for this one weekend from now, which is Momentum Weekend, and then the push starts. So the push doesn't start till 2 Mondays from now, 2 Tuesdays from now. But you have to get some momentum before that. So God bless you. No, so make sure you get a PC as soon as possible. And when you do, I'm gonna email out a calendar. Karina, can you remind me on WhatsApp real quick to do a push calendar? Remember for SC2, you had the calendar and you signed it and said, okay, I'm in for the push. There's a version of that we're gonna have for the SLC push. So just like before, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your picture and post your picture on the TLA WhatsApp, ready to rock and roll. Unless districts you want to create a gunner group so that reps can also do it. It's up to you. I think TLA is just fine. Okay, we'll post it on TLA. And then book review. Here's the last thing, letter of intent. So Stephen DeFala is our most recent letter of intent. I know I'll probably get a slew of them. If you're interested in separating yourself, the top 3 things you can do is continue to sell, right? Bring your startup to a higher level. And number 3 is get a letter in so we know you're really not just talking the talk. Get a letter in, ask your manager about it. And the sooner you get a letter in, the sooner your commitment increases your training level. Okay. Last but not least, new book, 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard. Nice. Right? And maybe one of the DMs can pull it up on the phone, screenshot it, and post it on the WhatsApp. 1 Minute Manager, please. Ken Blanchard. This is one of the quintessential classics. In fact, I have 2 copies right now in my house. One to gift if it comes up in conversation, and one for our Gamboa family household library. Yes, ma'am.
You know what I really like is
Yeah.
1 minute.
Say it again.
What I would really like is a gift is the 1 minute manager.
Oh, no, that's nice. Nice. Get yourself. But if you don't ask, you don't know. That was cool. Nice job, Rachel. That's what I like. Oh.
I was gonna make a comment on the letter of intent.
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is like a really good way to not only separate yourself and think of TLA, but just you'll train at a much higher level once you know that you're committed, because everything changes from there. Meaning that, like, for instance, when you're not, like, when you don't have a letter of intent in, like, you're probably the type of person that, like, maybe not always, but you just give yourself the option, like, you just do assignments just to do them. You know, for TLA, like, there's not a lot of intentionality. So as soon as you have a letter of intent in, like, everything kind of changes. So, like, when you're sitting in meetings and rather being that rep that's like, yeah, pretty similar stuff that I heard at the conference, I've heard it before, so blah, blah, blah. And, like, that's your response. Like, you look at a whole different level because you're actually like, all right, cool. Have I heard this information before? All right, cool. But could I go up there and, like, deliver this talk? Like, do I know it at a high enough level where I can teach it to someone else? Because I want to run my own office one day I'm going to have to do that. So everything that you're doing, you're learning a lot more. Like, when you're here, you're more intentional. When you're, like, outside, when you're in your local office, rather than, like, just doing the bare minimum and just be like, all right, did I do enough to do my assistant manager duties, or did I do enough to, meet the bare minimum? You're thinking, all right, cool. Like, how do I learn the most every single time I'm here while I'm in the office? So train at a higher level. I also say don't put one in just to put one in. Like, if you're doing it, just make yourself look good. Like, if you're actually not committed to being here next summer, then definitely don't put one in. I think sometimes people just put one in to, like, do that, and then, like, the worst you could do is put a letter of intent in and then decide, like, a month later that you're actually not committed.
Well, then you're not impeccable with your work.
Yeah.
See what we did there?
But once you have it in, everything, it's a completely different level of training. Completely.
I agree. Every year, and you've submitted how many letters of intent now, having opened 6 offices, right? Think about that. How many times you've had, Andrew's gone through this process multiple times. Every time you submit the letter, things change. Every time you sign the contract, so to speak, in a way, things change, right?
Yeah, I waited a long time to submit some of my letters.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to make sure that, like, hey, if I'm going to commit, like, I'm going to go, like, kicking my best. I'm making sure that I'm really intentional with what I'm doing while I'm doing it.
And long story short, maybe I'll talk about this at team night, but Andrew waited the longest for the most recent letter. In fact, so long that people thought he was going to say no. And he surprised us in Germany. But as soon as I got the letter, once I got past the way you did it, right? Or the way it unfolded, rather, I knew what type of commitment we were going to get. So just think about that for a second. I thought we had an awesome prep, and I really respect and appreciate you guys doing what other students aren't doing right now. Because everyone else is doing fun stuff or nothing at all. Okay? But you'll remember these sacrifices. I'm super proud of all of it. It's awesome to be part of a group that chooses growth like this. So I applaud you all. If you could do me favors, and for sake of time, can you go ahead and all quickly take 20 seconds to post your biggest light bulb? And if you are watching on YouTube right now, for your debrief, I would like all of your notes sent from each of the messages, or if you agree to what messages that you said you would watch specifically. And those will be due 2 Sundays from now. I believe it's on the 16th. Is that what the date is? Yes, it is the 16th by 9 p.m. in my inbox. So we'll post light bulbs. Take another 15 seconds. And for our 2, I want to say super champions, I want to give props to Sofia over in Puerto Rico, actually from Puerto Rico down in New Orleans, and Carrasco, Alejandra. Can you guys wave to me real quick? So you guys get the choice of watching opening comments and just watching the rest on your own time, because it's kind of hard to sit through the rest of it. But you ladies are animals. You guys are like, that's great. Thank you for being engaged. It's great to see you guys. Okay, cue the loud Puerto Ricans. There it is. See? I love it. I love it. Hey, thanks for your help. I want to say Carlos Cordero, thank you, and you're appreciated. Michael Abramowitz, thank you, and you're appreciated. Jackson Montgomery, thank you, you're appreciated. David Vargas, thank you, and you're much appreciated. And Next Level Group, thank you, you're much appreciated. You don't have to go home, but you have to get the hell up out of here. Everyone have a good night, guys. Thank you. Thanks, guys. If you guys do a team night out, send pictures.